Tonight, we're going to step back, very far back, into a time before cities, kings, or even written history. A time when humans were just beginning to carve out existence from a harsh, unpredictable world. This is the story of conflict's earliest form, the prehistoric battle. You might think of war as something sophisticated, with armies, armor, and strategy. But here, in a world dominated by ice, stone, and survival, conflict was raw, immediate, and terrifyingly intimate. Imagine waking up in a dense forest, the morning mist curling around massive, ancient trees. You're part of a small tribe. Every day is a fight against hunger, exposure, and predators. But sometimes, the greatest threat comes not from wolves or saber-toothed cats, but from other humans, another tribe. Another group fighting for the same hunting grounds, the same river, the same shelter from winter storms. Survival demands constant vigilance. A misunderstanding, a territorial dispute, or even sheer desperation could ignite violence in an instant. And when that happens, the rules we understand today didn't exist. There was only instinct, strategy born from necessity, and the raw edge of fear and courage. Prehistoric battles weren't fought with guns or swords, but with stone-tipped spears, clubs, and clever traps. They were rarely grand spectacles. Often they were quick skirmishes, chaotic struggles, or tense standoffs. Every encounter tested skill, wit, and the ability to endure. Tactics were improvised, leadership was informal, and survival often depended on quick thinking and an understanding of the environment. The wind, the terrain, the behavior of animals, everything mattered. One wrong step could mean injury, starvation, or death. Tonight, we're going to explore these forgotten confrontations. We'll follow clans and tribes through icy plains, dense forests, and sun-scorched valleys. We'll see how early humans used cunning, teamwork, and sheer bravery to overcome threats, both animal and human. We'll examine the first sparks of strategy, the rise of leadership, and the lessons learned from conflict long before anyone kept a record. And we'll see the human side of it, the fear, the desperation, the fleeting triumphs, and the heavy costs of survival. So settle in, let your imagination travel across tens of thousands of years, and consider this. The battles we think of as historical didn't start with kings or generals. They started with people like you and me, hunters, gatherers, survivors, pushed to their limits by nature, necessity, and the presence of others who were just as determined to live. By the end of this journey, you'll see the Ice Age and the dawn of human conflict in a new light, understanding that even the earliest wars were not about glory or conquest, they were about survival. Welcome, then, to the very first story of human conflict. The battles of the prehistoric world are waiting to be uncovered. Are you ready to see what actually happened? The day begins with a soft mist curling through the ancient forest, where massive trees stretch high, their trunks thick with moss and age. You wake slowly, muscles stiff from the uneven ground and the cold of the early morning. Hunger presses at your stomach, but there is no time for complaint. Food is scarce, and today, like every day, survival is uncertain. You gather your simple belongings: spears tipped with sharpened stone, a few dried berries for sustenance, and a crude shield made from thick bark. Every item is vital. Each carries the weight of necessity and the potential for life or death. The tribe is stirring. Figures move cautiously, their footsteps light on the damp forest floor. There is a tension in the air, an unspoken understanding that today may not be like other days. Conflict is never far. Other tribes inhabit the same forests, the same plains, the same rivers. They too need food, shelter, and safety. Sometimes encounters are peaceful, occasional exchange or wary observation, but often they erupt into chaos. The reasons can be simple: a claimed hunting ground, a stolen tool, or even a misinterpreted glance. You understand that a single mistake can trigger violence. You move with the group, scanning the surroundings, ears attuned to every sound. Birds cry overhead, but their warnings are subtle. The rustle of leaves could be the wind, or it could signal movement. Predators are a constant threat, but so are humans. Another tribe may be lurking just beyond a ridge, waiting, observing. Survival depends on awareness, patience, and preparation. Even small gestures, how you carry a weapon, how you approach water, can send signals that others interpret as challenge or surrender. In this world, misreading a gesture can be fatal. A scout returns from the ridge, signaling quietly. The tribe gathers in a small clearing, bodies crouched and tense. Eyes meet eyes, muscles flex, and instinct takes over. The scout whispers of movement nearby, another group encroaching on territory, possibly looking for a skirmish or a raid. The tribe prepares silently. Weapons are checked, positions assumed, and the forest itself becomes part of the strategy. Trees provide cover, rocks offer advantage. Even the wind can mask presence or betray location. The battle, though primitive, is precise in its own way. The approaching tribe emerges cautiously. They, too, are alert, carrying stone-tipped spears and wooden clubs, watching for signs of weakness. There is no ceremonial display, no banners or drums, only the tension in the air, the careful positioning, and the silent acknowledgement that survival depends on skill, timing, and sometimes sheer luck. The first movement, an inadvertent crack of a branch, triggers a flurry of activity. Spears are raised, bodies duck and pivot, and the two groups collide in a tangle of limbs, adrenaline, and instinct. Chaos reigns, but there is method amidst it. Leaders, recognized by experience rather than title, call out directions through gestures, shouts, and subtle movements. Flanking occurs instinctively. Weaker members are guided toward safety. Some fight fiercely, while others focus on retreating or protecting supplies. The battle is brief but intense, a test of speed, strength, and awareness. Every strike, block, and maneuver carries consequences. Injuries are common. Survival is never guaranteed. Amidst the skirmish, strategy begins to reveal itself. Ambushes are laid, natural barriers exploited, and distraction tactics employed. A falling branch creates cover, while a sudden shout draws attention. Hunters become warriors, using skills honed for survival to gain advantage. Observing prey in the forest has prepared you for this, watching patterns, understanding behavior, and acting decisively. Every instinct, every muscle memory is utilized in the struggle. Eventually, one side retreats. The battle is over as quickly as it began. Breath comes in sharp bursts, muscles ache, and the adrenaline slowly ebbs. Victories are measured in survival, not glory. Injuries are tended with knowledge of herbs and careful application of pressure. The fallen are mourned, their absence a reminder of the stakes in this unforgiving world. Lessons are learned, silently observed. Who was effective, who faltered, and what strategies might work better next time. The tribe regroups, assessing resources and planning the next steps. Hunting and gathering must continue, but now with heightened caution. Territory lines are respected, yet always shifting. Trust and communication are reinforced within the group. Leaders, chosen for experience and wisdom, guide movements and decisions. Every member contributes to survival, from tracking animals to setting traps and defending the tribe against further threats. The prehistoric battlefield is as much about learning and adaptation as it is about combat itself. As the sun dips low, casting long shadows through the forest, the tribe settles for the night. Fires are lit cautiously, smoke kept minimal to avoid detection. Vigilance remains high. Predators and rival humans alike can approach unseen. The lessons of the day linger. Awareness, preparation, coordination, and respect for the environment are essential for survival. Each sunrise brings new challenges. Each encounter teaches new strategies, and every day endured strengthens knowledge and resilience. By nightfall, the forest is quiet again, but the tension never fully disappears. Members huddle together for warmth and safety, reflecting on the day's events and preparing for the uncertainties tomorrow will bring. The prehistoric battle is not merely a fight, it is a constant negotiation with nature, with hunger, and with other humans who share the same primal needs. Victory is survival, and survival requires skill, intelligence, and a keen understanding of both the world and those who inhabit it. You close your eyes under the canopy of ancient trees, still alert to every sound, aware that tomorrow brings another day of danger and opportunity. This is the world of prehistoric conflict, raw, immediate, and deeply human. It is a world where the smallest detail, a step, a gesture, a glance, can determine life or death. And as the night deepens, you realize that the story of human warfare begins not with armies or kings, but with the first sparks of conflict in a world where survival is everything. The morning light breaks over the uneven terrain, casting long shadows across the dense forest where your tribe has camped. The air is crisp and carries the subtle scent of wet earth, moss, and smoke from the small fire you use to keep warm overnight. Today, as every day, survival depends on preparation, awareness, and, most importantly, the tools at your disposal. Unlike the warriors of later centuries, you do not have polished swords or organized armies. Your weapons are crude, yet in this harsh world, they are vital, ingenious, and often deadly when used correctly. The tribe gathers quietly, moving with efficiency and purpose. There is a rhythm to the morning, a shared understanding of tasks, a division of labor honed by necessity. Some sharpen stone points, others repair wooden handles or fashion simple shields from bark and hide. The process is slow and painstaking, each movement deliberate. The slightest imperfection in a spear tip or club can mean the difference between a successful hunt or defense and serious injury or even death. These tools are your lifeline, and respect for them is as much a part of training as observation or physical strength. You pick up a roughly flaked spear and test its balance. The stone point, carefully chipped to a sharp edge, is lashed securely to the wooden shaft with sinew and strips of hide. The result is imperfect, yet effective. It is enough to pierce the hide of an animal or an enemy. Nearby, Another tribe member is experimenting with a small wooden club, weighted slightly at the end. He swings it experimentally, testing the momentum and weight, noting how it could be used to strike or parry in close combat. Every object, every design, is the result of trial and error over generations, learned by observation, experience, and necessity. You wander toward the edge of the camp, where the forest opens into a clearing. Here, sunlight filters through the branches, illuminating small patches of grass and mud. It is the perfect place to practice. You thrust the spear into a soft patch of earth, testing balance, aim, and technique. The motion is familiar, almost instinctive, honed over countless mornings and countless repetitions. But today, the stakes feel higher. The memory of yesterday's skirmish lingers. The adrenaline, the fear, the sudden chaos. Every movement now carries the weight of that lesson. You are not just preparing for hunting. You are preparing for confrontation with humans as resourceful, hungry, and dangerous as you. Nearby, other tribe members simulate defensive formations. Shields interlock, feet are positioned for balance, and movements are deliberate yet fluid. There is a rhythm, almost a dance, to these early exercises. Though crude, they hint at the first forms of tactics: how to protect the weaker members of the group, how to exploit terrain to one's advantage, how to maximize the impact of a single strike. These lessons are essential. Each mistake can be costly, each success critical. Survival demands practice, focus, and ingenuity. You pause to observe the tools more closely. Stone, bone, and wood. The simplest materials, yet capable of shaping life and death in the prehistoric world. Spears for thrusting and throwing. Clubs for close quarters defense. Knives for cutting or slashing. Even rocks, carefully selected for weight and shape, become projectiles or blunt instruments. Every object in your hands is a weapon if used wisely, a shield if held properly, and a tool for survival in multiple contexts. You recognize the importance of adaptability. One item can serve many purposes, and the clever use of materials can tilt the balance in your favor. The tribe begins a coordinated exercise, mock hunting turned battle simulation. One group moves silently through the underbrush, practicing stealth, while another advances cautiously, shielded and ready to counter. You notice the subtleties: how to use sunlight to hide movement, how to mask sound on leaves and twigs, how to anticipate the reactions of others. Even in simulation, the lessons are harsh and immediate. Every misstep carries consequence. Every observation has value. The line between hunting, defense, and battle is thin, and skills overlap. Hours pass in focused practice. The sun climbs, shadows shift, and fatigue begins to press against muscles and concentration. Still, there is no room for carelessness. Stones slip, hands tire, and concentration wavers. Even minor errors are lessons in disguise. A dropped spear, a misjudged swing, or a misread movement can teach more than any success. The prehistoric world is a harsh teacher, and repetition, awareness, and persistence are its methods. By mid-afternoon, the tribe breaks for a small meal of gathered roots and dried meat. The conversation is minimal, but the energy is charged with focus. Tomorrow, perhaps, another tribe may appear on the distant ridge. Perhaps a hunt will go wrong, or perhaps fortune will favor them, and you. Each day is unpredictable, but preparation, practice, and ingenuity provide an advantage. Even the simplest weapons, when handled with skill and understanding, can become extensions of instinct, turning human fragility into survival capability. As shadows lengthen, the tribe begins to dismantle the practice area. Spears are checked, clubs repaired, and material stored carefully. Each tool is maintained, respected, and valued. The environment is unforgiving, and any neglect could have fatal consequences. The lessons of the day are clear. Knowledge, skill, and adaptability are as crucial as strength or courage. Mastery of tools is mastery of survival. The smallest detail, how a spear is thrown, how a club is swung, or how a rock is aimed, can determine whether life continues or ends. As evening approaches, you settle near the fire once more, reflecting on the day's activities. The forest grows quiet, but the sense of danger never fully disappears. Even while resting, vigilance remains essential. The tools you've honed today are not just objects, they are lifelines, symbols of adaptability and instruments of survival in a world that does not forgive mistakes. The prehistoric battle is more than confrontation. It is a continuous process of preparation, observation, and refinement. Every object you hold, every action you take, and every skill you develop increases the odds of enduring another day in this relentless, unpredictable world. By nightfall, the lessons are embedded in memory. The tribe sleeps in short rotations, wary of predators and rival humans alike. Your body aches, your mind is alert, and the fire casts flickering shadows that remind you of the thin line between survival and failure. Every day, every practice, every tool used with precision strengthens the tribe's chance to endure. In the prehistoric world, weapons are not just tools, they are extensions of instinct, strategy, and human resilience, shaping the outcomes of both hunting and conflict. As you close your eyes, the forest around you remains alive with sound and movement. Tomorrow will demand skill, vigilance, and adaptation once more. The battles of prehistoric life are not won with strength alone, but with ingenuity, observation, and the clever use of whatever the world provides. Spears, clubs, rocks, they are humble instruments. Yet, in the hands of someone who understands them, they can decide the difference between life and death, between survival and extinction. The sun rises slowly over the prehistoric landscape, spilling muted light across rolling plains, dense forests, and jagged hills. From your vantage point on a small rise, you can see the familiar signs of your tribe's territory: worn paths where deer and other game travel, clusters of stones marking water sources, and the occasional scratch on a tree trunk signaling a boundary. In this world, land is more than shelter. It is survival. Territory defines where you hunt, where you gather, and where your group can safely rest. The boundaries are not marked with fences or walls. They are respected through understanding, vigilance, and sometimes through conflict. Your tribe is stirring, as it does each day, moving with practiced efficiency. Adults check the perimeter, ensuring there are no intruders, while younger members prepare tools and gather small provisions. Communication is subtle, relying on gestures, sounds, and shared observation. Every individual knows their role, yet all are aware that vigilance must never lapse. The forest is alive with movement, animals seeking food, predators stalking silently, and occasionally another human group testing your boundaries. Territory is a living, breathing entity, and defending it is a matter of survival. Today, you are on watch. From the rise, you notice movement in the distance, a line of figures trudging carefully through the underbrush. At first, they appear as shadows, but soon the details emerge. A small group from a neighboring tribe, possibly scouts or hunters, crossing into what your tribe considers its domain. Instinctive tension grips your chest. Conflict could be avoided, but it could also erupt at any moment. Prehistoric life is a constant negotiation. A glance, a gesture, or a misstep could spark a skirmish. Understanding the land, the behavior of your neighbors, and the motivations behind their movements is essential. The neighboring group pauses near a river, perhaps unaware they are so close to your territory. You and a few others descend quietly toward the edge of the forest, observing, calculating. Stealth is critical. In this era, conflicts are rarely organized battles. They are rapid, chaotic encounters shaped by surprise, speed, and awareness. Every step, every sound, every breath could betray your presence or mislead the other group. Territory disputes are often resolved quickly through intimidation, clever maneuvering, or the occasional show of force. Your tribe signals silently to one another, forming small clusters to monitor potential approaches. Some prepare rudimentary weapons, sharpened spears, clubs, and stones. Others remain hidden, ready to flank or defend if necessary. Observation becomes strategy. Every detail of the environment matters. A fallen log can provide cover. A slope offers a vantage point, and the river itself can become a natural barrier or trap. Prehistoric humans were masters of adapting to their surroundings, and understanding the terrain is as important as understanding your opponent. The distant figures begin to move again, approaching the boundary. It is difficult to tell their intentions. Are they here to hunt, to spy, or to provoke? In this uncertain world, caution is survival. The tribe remains hidden, using the cover of trees and underbrush, observing and waiting. Time becomes elastic. Minutes stretch into what feels like hours as both groups study each other, calculating movements and predicting actions. The tension is palpable, the kind that tightens muscles and sharpens senses. Suddenly, a branch snaps underfoot, betraying your position. The other group freezes, glancing toward the sound. For a moment, there is a silent standoff, each side measuring the other. Eyes lock. Instincts honed by countless encounters and survival training kick in. One step, one gesture, one misjudgment could ignite conflict or end it. The tribes are aware that while confrontation is dangerous, retreat without advantage could signal weakness and invite further challenges. Leadership is informal but crucial. Those who have proven skill and judgment guide decisions, signaling when to advance, when to hold, and when to withdraw. The standoff begins to dissolve as one side slowly retreats, understanding that a direct clash is too risky in this open terrain. The tension eases slightly, but vigilance remains high. Lessons have been observed: how to read movements, how to anticipate reactions, and how territory shapes human interaction. Every encounter, however brief, carries knowledge that ensures better preparation for the next. Territory disputes are cyclical. Respect, fear, and previous interactions all play a role in maintaining balance. After the encounter, your tribe gathers to debrief. Movements are discussed, mistakes noted, and strategies refined. Younger members are taught what to observe, how to anticipate intrusions, and how to use terrain to advantage. Survival is a shared responsibility, and knowledge is passed orally, through demonstration, and by repeated practice. Territory is defended not only by weapons, but by skill, observation, and collective memory. Every rock, tree, and river bend is part of the strategy, a living map of survival knowledge. Later, the day shifts focus to hunting and gathering. Maintaining control of territory requires resources, and the two are inseparable. While some members track prey, others fortify the camp, setting rudimentary alarm systems with rocks or twigs. Every action reinforces the tribe's presence in the area, signaling both to nature and to neighboring humans. Prehistoric territory is not just claimed by physical presence, it is maintained through skill, vigilance, and strategic action. As evening falls, shadows stretch across the landscape, and the forest quiets. The neighboring tribe is no longer visible, but the lessons of the day linger. Territory is a living boundary, respected yet constantly challenged. Conflict is rarely planned, but ever present. Survival demands understanding of geography, human behavior, and the delicate balance between confrontation and avoidance. By night, fires are lit cautiously, providing warmth and security. Sleep is shallow, punctuated by vigilance. Territory extends beyond the immediate clearing. It includes rivers, ridges, and forests. Every boundary is a potential site for conflict, and every member of the tribe carries responsibility. The prehistoric world is defined by these invisible lines, maintained by skill, awareness, and occasional force. As you settle under the canopy of stars, the lessons of the day echo in your mind. Territory is not simply land. It is survival, strategy, and community. Every encounter, every observation, every decision contributes to the knowledge required to endure. The battles of the prehistoric world are subtle, often brief, but their impact on survival is profound. Understanding the boundaries, respecting them, and being prepared for challenge are the keys to enduring in a world where territory and survival are inseparably linked. The sun barely clears the horizon, scattering muted orange light across a frost-covered plain. You and your tribe move cautiously through the underbrush, senses sharp, muscles taut. Today's goal is not just sustenance, it is survival in a broader sense, for hunting and battle are often intertwined in this harsh, prehistoric world. The same skills that allow you to track prey, set traps, and anticipate animal behavior are also critical when other humans are involved. In this environment, the line between hunting and combat is thin, and understanding it can mean the difference between life and death. The tribe spreads out carefully, each member aware of their role. Some focus on tracking herds of animals, noting footprints in the soft soil, broken branches, and droppings that reveal the size and health of the prey. Others scan the landscape for signs of rival humans, subtle disturbances in the brush, shapes moving in the distance, or even the sound of a twig snapping underfoot. The dual nature of this day, hunting while remaining vigilant for conflict, creates tension, a constant awareness that nothing is guaranteed. Every rustle, every movement carries meaning. Your focus turns to the herd of large mammals grazing across the plain. They are oblivious to the human eyes observing them, yet the group approaches with a careful rhythm, whispering softly, coordinating movement with minimal sound. Spears are adjusted, weighted stones held ready, and even simple tools are used to manipulate the environment. A branch pulled to mask movement, loose rocks arranged as obstacles, or shallow trenches dug to channel the animals. The techniques are primitive, yet surprisingly sophisticated, a testament to human ingenuity and adaptation. Suddenly, movement in the distance catches your eye, a flash of motion near the tree line. It is not part of the herd. Instinctively, your muscles tighten. The movements are deliberate, and the patterns are too coordinated to belong to animals. Another human group is here, likely pursuing the same prey or encroaching on territory. The air grows tense as the tribe halts, frozen in position while evaluating the situation. There is no time for fear, only focus. Strategy is immediate, instinctive, and necessary. The encounter unfolds in a blur of observation and quick decision-making. The opposing group is unaware of your presence at first, but subtle movements, a slight shift in posture, the glint of a spear tip, reveal your position. Now, a decision must be made. Engage, retreat, or attempt negotiation through display and intimidation. In this era, there is no formal diplomacy, only actions and reactions. Every movement communicates intent. Every gesture can provoke or dissuade. Survival depends on interpreting these signs correctly and acting decisively. Your tribe shifts subtly, positioning members to control access points while minimizing exposure. Spears are raised, rocks gripped tightly, and eyes track the rival group's motions. The forest and plain become a chessboard of instinct and improvisation. Some members circle silently, using trees and ridges for cover, while others prepare to intercept if confrontation becomes inevitable. The knowledge gained from countless hunts informs these movements, anticipating where the enemy will step, how they might react, and what vulnerabilities exist in their formation. The standoff is brief but tense. One misstep, a snapped branch, a misjudged shadow, could ignite chaos. The opposing group pauses, assessing the same variables, equally aware of the dangers and opportunities. Both sides weigh the risk of injury against the potential gain: food, territory, or the assertion of dominance. The decision to strike or withdraw is never arbitrary. It is calculated from experience, instinct, and observation, honed over countless encounters and rehearsals. Conflict erupts as a single figure moves too close, prompting a flurry of motion. Spears fly, clubs swing, and shouts pierce the morning air. The skirmish is fast and chaotic, a combination of speed, strength, and tactical improvisation. There is no grand strategy, no formal formation, only instinct, skill, and the use of available terrain. Trees, rocks, and uneven ground become shields, barriers, and advantages, exploited by those who observe carefully and react swiftly. Each strike carries weight. Each movement carries consequence. Amidst the chaos, hunting and battle remain intertwined. The noise and movement of humans can scatter prey, forcing split-second decisions: pursue the herd, defend the group, or retreat. The dual pressures of predation and human conflict create a tense, dynamic environment. Skills developed for survival, tracking, stealth, and timing, are applied simultaneously to prey and rivals. Adaptability becomes crucial. Flexibility, observation, and rapid decision-making determine whether the tribe emerges intact or diminished. Eventually, one group retreats, recognizing the risks of continued engagement outweigh potential gains. The battlefield, though small and brief, leaves lasting impressions. Injuries are tended, strategies analyzed, and lessons shared. Younger tribe members watch carefully, learning the nuances of survival that go beyond raw strength, reading behavior, anticipating movement, and using environment and tools effectively. The prehistoric world rewards intelligence, coordination, and skill as much as courage or ferocity. The aftermath of the encounter reinforces a fundamental truth. Hunting and battle are inseparable in the prehistoric context. Both require observation, timing, and strategy. Both demand respect for tools and terrain. Both test the limits of endurance and adaptability. Every skirmish, whether with animals or humans, is a lesson, shaping behavior, refining skills, and strengthening the tribe's collective understanding of survival. As the sun dips toward the horizon, the tribe regroups and assesses resources. Food has been gathered, injuries treated, and territory reinforced through presence and subtle displays of strength. Nightfall brings a brief respite, but vigilance remains essential. Predators lurk, rival humans may return, and the lessons of the day are stored carefully in memory. Tomorrow will bring new hunts, new challenges, and possibly new conflicts. Survival in this era depends on preparation, awareness, and the skillful integration of all experiences. By the time darkness envelopes the landscape, the tribe is settled, fires flickering softly in the cold evening air. Tools are repaired, weapons checked, and strategies rehearsed quietly in the minds of experienced members. Even while resting, the lessons of the day, the intertwined nature of hunting and battle, remain present. Each sunrise brings the same demands. Each encounter tests adaptability and knowledge, and every member contributes to the tribe's ongoing survival. In the prehistoric world, the hunt is never simply about sustenance, and the battle is never purely about conflict. Each event is layered, demanding awareness, strategy, and adaptability. The skills learned today, applied carefully and remembered, may determine life or death tomorrow. And in this frozen, untamed, and unpredictable world, the tribes that survive are those who understand the delicate balance between pursuit and defense, between predator and rival, and between instinct and intelligence. Dawn breaks across the frost-laden plains, and the first light spills into the dense forest that has been your tribe's home for generations. The morning air is crisp, carrying the scent of wet earth, pine, and distant smoke. The tribe stirs quietly, knowing that today, more than ever, observation and stealth may determine survival. In this harsh, prehistoric world, the battles that shaped lives often unfolded not with open confrontation, but in shadows, behind trees, or along hidden ridges. Strategy and cunning were as vital as strength, endurance, or skill with a weapon. You move silently through the underbrush, muscles coiled and senses alert. Every snap of a twig, every rustle of leaves, and every bird call carries meaning. In the distance, you hear movement, faint and irregular. It could be an animal, searching for food, or it could be another human group, testing your territory, seeking prey, or simply exploring. The difference is critical, and recognition is learned through years of experience. Early humans honed an almost instinctive understanding of the environment, reading signs invisible to the untrained eye. The tribe spreads strategically, each member assuming a role. Scouts move ahead, crouched low, scanning for disturbances. Others remain in concealed positions, ready to ambush if the need arises. Spears and clubs are ready, but held in a way that maximizes stealth. Even the simplest weapon can become lethal when combined with planning, patience, and knowledge of the terrain. The world is alive with risk, and every step requires caution. One miscalculation, one careless movement can spell disaster. The lesson of the day emerges immediately. In prehistoric battles, the advantage often lay with those who could blend into the environment. Natural barriers, fallen logs, dense brush, shallow ravines were more than obstacles. They were tools. Cover could conceal the movement of attackers or provide protection for the wary. High ground offered observation points, while low ground allowed unseen approach. Even water, mud, or rocks could be manipulated to mislead or trap opponents. Survival depended on turning the environment into an ally. Your eyes catch a flash of movement among the trees. The rival group is advancing cautiously, unaware of your presence. The tribe holds its position, remaining silent, letting the other group come closer. Timing is everything. Too early an attack, and they may escape. Too late, and they may detect the trap. The tension is palpable, muscles taut, breath measured. Every instinct is heightened. The first successful prehistoric ambush was not the result of brute force, but of careful observation, patience, and calculated risk. The ambush is subtle. A group member dislodges a loose branch, sending it snapping against the forest floor in a controlled fashion. The sound catches the attention of the opposing tribe, drawing their focus away from the real threat. Spears are readied, rocks positioned to roll down slight inclines if necessary, and the hidden group prepares to strike at the perfect moment. Every action is deliberate, executed with precision, and aimed at maximizing advantage while minimizing risk. When the moment comes, it is swift and sudden. A burst of motion, a coordinated strike, and chaos erupts. The rival group scrambles to react, while your tribe, trained in patience and anticipation, moves efficiently to intercept and disorient. The skirmish is short, violent, and precise. Injuries occur, but fatalities are minimized by the use of surprise and terrain. The conflict demonstrates the key lesson. Strategy and positioning can outweigh pure physical strength. Intelligence, observation, and timing define the outcome more than brute force ever could. Even after the initial clash, the importance of shadow tactics continues. Members of the rival group scatter, attempting to regroup, while scouts from your tribe follow cautiously, ready to intervene if necessary. The goal is not mere destruction, but survival and resource protection. Prehistoric battles were rarely about conquest in the modern sense. They were about control of territory, access to food and water, and the safety of the group. Every ambush, every maneuver was a rehearsal for survival, refining skills, reinforcing lessons, and strengthening the tribe's collective knowledge. Throughout the day, multiple encounters unfold. Some are simple skirmishes, resolved without injury. Others are more chaotic, testing the adaptability of the tribe. Each interaction is observed closely by younger members, who learn the subtleties of strategy, timing, and communication. The process is oral and experiential. Knowledge is passed silently, through demonstration, gestures, and repeated practice. Leadership is informal but respected, based on skill, observation, and the ability to make quick, effective decisions under pressure. The forest itself becomes a teacher. Observing the shadows, the angles of sunlight, and the sound patterns informs every decision. Where to place a watch, where to position weapons, and how to move undetected are all dictated by careful study. In this prehistoric world, environmental literacy is as important as physical skill. A well-placed rock, a hidden depression in the ground, or a slight variation in foliage can provide the decisive advantage in confrontation. Every day, survival depends on understanding these nuances, learning from experience, and integrating observation into instinct. As evening approaches, the tribe regroups, assessing injuries, sharing lessons, and refining strategies. The day's encounters, brief as they may have been, are rich with knowledge. Each member has learned not only the importance of stealth and observation, but also the necessity of patience and timing. Weapons have been tested, positions evaluated, and tactics reinforced. The prehistoric battlefield, whether for hunting or human conflict, is as much a classroom as it is a site of struggle. Night descends with quiet urgency. Fires are lit carefully, kept small to avoid drawing attention. Members rest in shifts, maintaining vigilance against predators and possible intrusions. The day's experiences are recounted silently, remembered, and integrated into the tribe's collective understanding. Ambushes, shadow tactics, and environmental mastery are not merely strategies. They are essential survival tools, honed over countless encounters and shared from generation to generation. In this way, the prehistoric world teaches lessons that go beyond immediate conflict. Observation, patience, and cunning are as important as courage, endurance, and skill with a weapon. Every ambush, every hidden approach, every careful movement strengthens the tribe's chance to endure. The shadows of the forest, the subtle signals in the landscape, and the vigilance of each member define the boundaries between survival and failure. In these early battles, the mind is as powerful as the body, and strategy is the true measure of human resilience. As you settle for the night, muscles aching and senses still alert, the lessons of the day remain clear. Battles are won not merely by strength, but by intelligence, preparation, and the ability to move unseen. Every encounter in the prehistoric world is an opportunity to learn, adapt, and refine strategies. The shadows are alive. The environment is an ally, and survival depends on the clever integration of observation, skill, and timing. The morning light pierces the frozen haze, turning frost-coated trees and icy ground into a shimmering landscape that is both beautiful and deadly. You awaken to the harsh reality that the Ice Age is as much an enemy as any rival human group. The biting cold gnaws at exposed skin, and even simple movements require effort. Every breath produces a small cloud of vapor, a constant reminder that warmth is fleeting. Survival depends on more than weapons or tactics. It depends on endurance, preparation, and the ability to adapt to a landscape that is as unpredictable as it is unforgiving. Your tribe moves cautiously across the frozen plain, snow crunching beneath feet, and the occasional cracking of ice echoing unnervingly. Each step is deliberate. One misjudged footing could mean a twisted ankle, a fall into freezing water, or being separated from the group. Cold saps strength and focus, and awareness must be heightened at all times. Every member of the tribe carries knowledge passed down through countless generations: how to preserve body heat, how to recognize signs of frostbite, and how to navigate treacherous terrain without drawing unnecessary attention. The icy environment reshapes how battles unfold. Ambushes are more dangerous, as movement on snow or ice can betray position instantly. Visibility is limited by fog and falling snow, yet open plains leave little cover. Rival groups, just as wary and desperate, must navigate the same challenges, making encounters unpredictable. A single miscalculation, slipping on ice, underestimating wind direction, or misjudging snow depth, can determine the outcome of a skirmish. The elements themselves become participants in every conflict, as lethal as any spear or club. Your tribe has learned to adapt. Tracks in the snow are studied closely, revealing the size, direction, and pace of both prey and potential threats. Frost patterns, the angle of the sun, and even the sounds of distant ice cracking are analyzed. Knowledge of the environment is weaponized. Understanding how snow shifts beneath weight, how the wind carries scent, or where hidden crevices might lie, can provide a decisive advantage. Every action is calculated, informed by experience and instinct. Movement is slow but deliberate. Some members carry makeshift sleds, while others use sharpened sticks to probe the ice ahead. The weight of weapons is adjusted to account for slippery surfaces and reduced maneuverability. Even basic tools like spears are adapted: heavier tips for breaking frozen hides, reinforced shafts for balance and leverage, and compact designs to allow mobility without sacrificing effectiveness. In this environment, ingenuity is as crucial as strength. The first signs of another human presence appear as faint disturbances on the snow, footprints leading from a distant ridge toward your group's position. The patterns suggest caution. The intruders are experienced, moving quietly, testing the terrain, and likely scanning for weaknesses. Your tribe signals silently, adjusting positions to avoid detection while monitoring movement. The knowledge of ambushes and shadow tactics learned on forested plains now applies to frozen expanses. Concealment is more difficult, yet the principles remain the same: observation, timing, and preparation. The rival group draws nearer. The snow muffles some sounds, but the icy ground amplifies others. Every snap of frozen branches, every crunch underfoot, is a potential giveaway. Both groups move with caution, aware that a skirmish could erupt at any moment. The cold intensifies the stakes. Wounds are more dangerous, mobility is limited, and exposure to the elements adds another layer of risk. Prehistoric battles in such terrain test endurance, awareness, and strategic thinking as much as combat skill. Suddenly, a misstep, a foot sliding on a thin ice sheet, triggers a cascade of noise. The opposing group freezes, assessing the situation, while your tribe responds instantly. Spears are raised, bodies shift into defensive postures, and members use every available feature of the icy landscape for cover. Rocks, ice mounds, and fallen trees become shields. Even subtle changes in elevation, usually insignificant, now provide critical advantages. Timing, patience, and improvisation determine the outcome. The clash, when it comes, is brief but intense. Frozen ground complicates movement, forcing close quarters confrontation. Weapons must be wielded carefully to maintain balance, while the cold saps energy with every strike. Every maneuver requires thought as well as reflex. Injuries are amplified in this environment. A cut that might be minor in warmer conditions risks infection, frostbite, or loss of mobility. The stakes of survival are heightened, turning every skirmish into a test of adaptability, endurance, and teamwork. Even after the initial clash, vigilance remains. The rival group may retreat, but they remain a threat. Tracking is complicated by snowstorms, but footprints and disrupted snow patterns provide valuable intelligence. Your tribe must maintain observation, moving cautiously to avoid overexposure while collecting resources and tending injuries. The frozen landscape demands constant adaptation. Strategies that worked in forests or plains must be modified, tested, and refined for ice and snow. The day progresses, and survival skills are further reinforced. Foraging becomes an exercise in understanding the frozen environment, recognizing edible roots beneath layers of snow, identifying animal tracks for hunting, and determining where frozen water sources can be safely accessed. Every decision is informed by experience, instinct, and observation. The line between survival and danger is thin, and each moment carries weight. Prehistoric humans mastered these conditions through repeated trial, careful observation, and collaboration. As night falls, the temperature drops sharply. Fires are carefully managed, using dry moss, bark, and small twigs to conserve warmth without drawing attention. The tribe huddles close, sharing heat, reinforcing bonds, and recounting the day's events. Lessons from skirmishes, ambushes, and environmental challenges are discussed quietly, ensuring that knowledge is preserved. Even while resting, awareness is maintained. Frozen terrain can shift, predators roam, and rival groups may still pose threats. Vigilance is constant, and preparation never ends. In the silence of the night, the tribe reflects on the harsh lessons of Ice Age survival. The environment itself is a formidable opponent, shaping behavior, strategy, and tools. Survival depends on more than brute strength. Observation, ingenuity, and careful planning are essential. Every step taken in snow, every improvised weapon, and every tactical decision is a reflection of the adaptability and intelligence required to endure. Prehistoric battles are not only physical tests, they are exercises in problem solving, environmental mastery, and the application of knowledge gained over countless generations. By the time the first light of dawn returns, the tribe has adapted to the challenges of frozen terrain once again. Weapons are sharpened, routes are planned, and observation skills are reinforced. The cold, the snow, and the ice remain constant threats, shaping the very strategies used in conflict. Survival, in this world, is not merely about strength or courage. It is about preparation, knowledge, and the clever use of every advantage the environment provides. The day ends with a quiet realization. The Ice Age is not simply a backdrop for prehistoric life. It is an active participant in every hunt, every skirmish, and every encounter. Understanding it, respecting it, and using it to one's advantage is as important as mastering any weapon. The lessons learned here, the careful observation, the strategic positioning, and the adaptation to extreme conditions form the foundation of human survival and early warfare, ensuring that the tribe endures another day in a world that is as breathtaking as it is unforgiving. The morning is cold, but the fires of the previous night have left embers glowing faintly, offering warmth and light for the first moments before the sun rises. Your tribe moves carefully through the frost-laden forest, gathering materials for tools, maintaining weapons, and preparing for another day of survival. In this prehistoric world, tools are extensions of the body, turning ingenuity into advantage, and improvisation into life-saving skill. Every spear, club, or stone becomes a key factor in whether you endure the day or fall to injury, predation, or human conflict. Weapons are selected and examined meticulously. Stone-tipped spears are checked for secure bindings, their points sharpened through repeated flaking. Clubs are reinforced with hardened wood, sometimes weighted with stones for maximum impact. Knives, simple yet effective, are tested for grip and balance. Even rocks, chosen for shape and density, are positioned in ready spots for throwing or rolling down slopes. Every item is multifunctional, adaptable for hunting, defense, and combat against rival humans. Knowledge of materials and technique is passed orally and through demonstration, each member learning through repetition and observation. Improvisation is as vital as skill. When a stone point breaks, sinew frays, or a handle cracks, your tribe must repair or replace it quickly. There is no room for error. A broken weapon can mean death in the next encounter. Creativity, therefore, becomes as critical as strength. Simple innovations, a strip of hide to reinforce a shaft, a sharpened bone as a substitute for flint, or layering rocks to form a makeshift shield can drastically improve effectiveness. Survival depends on the ability to adapt to circumstances, using whatever the environment provides. As the tribe prepares, a small group sets out to observe potential threats and prey. The forest is alive with subtle cues, disturbed branches, faint tracks in the mud, and the sounds of animals moving at dawn. Each observation informs the tools and tactics that may be required. Spears are adjusted for distance, clubs held at ready angles, and stones carefully selected for throwing or leverage. Every action, even seemingly minor, can have significant consequences. Early humans understood that preparation is not separate from combat, it is part of it. Your attention shifts to the mechanics of weapons. Throwing a spear requires more than strength. It demands an understanding of trajectory, leverage, and timing. Hitting a moving target, whether a grazing animal or a rival human, requires practice and precision. Clubs must be swung to maximize momentum without compromising balance, and rocks must be thrown with calculated force to avoid alerting others prematurely. Mastery of these skills is not theoretical. It is honed daily through repetition, observation, and immediate feedback from the environment. The tribe conducts a simulation, combining hunting and conflict scenarios. Some members act as prey, moving unpredictably, while others practice ambush tactics. Spears are thrown at targets hidden among trees, clubs are swung with precision, and rocks are rolled down inclines to test trajectory. Even these exercises carry real-world lessons: how to calculate angles, how to respond to movement, and how to adjust quickly when circumstances change. In the prehistoric world, every drill reinforces skills essential for survival and combat. Observation of rival groups is equally important. Tracking footprints, analyzing broken branches, and listening for distant sounds informs how weapons will be used. Early humans learned to anticipate not only the environment, but also the behavior of other humans. Understanding tendencies, predicting reactions, and exploiting weaknesses required as much intelligence and insight as physical prowess. Every tool is wielded with purpose, and every movement is strategic. As the sun climbs, a small group approaches from the ridge. They are cautious, scanning the environment for potential threats. Your tribe signals silently, taking positions among trees and mounds. The weapons prepared earlier are now central to strategy. Spears are positioned to cover approaches, clubs held ready for sudden confrontation, and rocks placed where gravity and terrain can enhance their effectiveness. The environment itself is a weapon, turned to advantage through knowledge and preparation. The encounter is swift. The rival group freezes, assessing your tribe's positions, while your members hold steady, balancing caution with readiness. The first sign of movement, a branch snapping, a foot slipping on uneven ground, triggers a rapid response. Spears are thrown, clubs swung, and rocks rolled down slopes. The clash is chaotic but controlled, a dance of observation, timing, and force. Injuries may occur, but fatalities are minimized by careful positioning and calculated action. Survival depends not on brute strength alone, but on the clever application of tools and terrain. After the skirmish, the tribe regroups. Weapons are repaired, replaced, or adjusted. Stones are resharpened, handles reinforced, and every tool is checked for functionality. The environment is surveyed for additional resources, and lessons from the encounter are discussed. Younger members learn through demonstration how to throw a spear efficiently, how to strike with a club without compromising balance, and how to use rocks strategically. This hands-on teaching ensures that knowledge is preserved and improved across generations. By mid-afternoon, the tribe practices another critical skill, improvising under pressure. A member simulates weapon failure, forcing others to adapt quickly, using alternative tools or manipulating the environment to gain advantage. These exercises reflect the reality of prehistoric combat. Nothing is guaranteed, and flexibility is essential. Survival depends on adapting to unpredictable circumstances, using every available tool, and responding instantly to changes. Every rock, stick, or piece of bone can become a decisive factor when combined with strategy and skill. The day's lessons extend beyond immediate survival. Observing the effectiveness of different weapons and tactics informs the development of new tools and techniques. A heavier stone may work better for rolling. A longer spear may reach across uneven terrain, and a reinforced club may offer superior leverage. Early humans learned to innovate, combining observation, experimentation, and necessity to improve their chances of survival. Tools were not static. They evolved alongside the strategies and demands of prehistoric life. As dusk approaches, the tribe returns to camp. Fires are rekindled, weapons checked once more, and materials stored carefully for the following day. Even as night falls, vigilance remains essential. The lessons of the day, observation, improvisation, and mastery of tools are internalized. The ability to adapt, innovate, and employ weapons effectively is inseparable from survival. Prehistoric life is a continuous process of preparation, execution, and reflection. and every member contributes to the collective strength of the tribe. In the fading light, the tribe gathers around fires, sharing warmth, food, and stories of the day's encounters. Younger members listen closely, absorbing lessons about weapons, tactics, and the environment. The knowledge of tool creation, weapon maintenance, and improvisation is more than practical skill. It is cultural inheritance, a blueprint for survival passed down and refined with each generation. Prehistoric battles are not merely physical confrontations, they are tests of ingenuity, observation, and adaptability, where the clever use of tools often outweighs raw strength or size. By night, the tribe settles into rotation, maintaining vigilance while conserving energy. Weapons are positioned within reach, tools kept ready, and strategies reviewed mentally. Tomorrow will demand the same combination of preparation, skill, and adaptability. The prehistoric battlefield is not static. It is dynamic, unpredictable, and shaped by every element of the environment. Those who endure are those who understand tools, tactics, and timing, turning the simplest resources into instruments of survival and dominance. The day ends with quiet reflection. Each weapon, each improvised device, is a testament to human ingenuity and resilience. Spears, clubs, and stones are more than objects. They are extensions of knowledge, skill, and instinct. Mastery of tools allows early humans to navigate danger, assert control over their environment, and survive in a world where every encounter, whether with animal or human, demands intelligence, precision, and adaptability. The lessons of today are stored in memory, prepared to be tested again at dawn, as the cycle of survival and conflict continues endlessly in the prehistoric world. Dawn creeps over the horizon, casting long, cold shadows across the uneven terrain. The frost still clings to leaves and rocks, sparkling like tiny jewels in the weak morning sun. Your tribe stirs quietly, every movement deliberate, every sound minimized. Today's lesson is clear. Survival often depends on the art of the ambush. In this prehistoric world, confrontation is rarely direct. Strength and speed matter, of course, but the ability to anticipate, deceive, and strike at the precise moment defines success. Ambushes are as much about patience and observation as they are about weapons or physical prowess. The tribe spreads strategically, moving like shadows through the forest. Scouts take point, eyes scanning for movement, ears alert for the slightest sound. Each member understands the landscape intimately. The curves of the hills, the density of the underbrush, and the subtle differences in snow or soil that might reveal the presence of prey or rival humans. Ambushes require knowledge, timing, and coordination. It is not enough to strike. You must choose the moment when the enemy is most vulnerable, when their attention is elsewhere, and when the terrain gives you advantage. Your focus turns to a narrow valley below, a natural funnel between two ridges. This location has been chosen with care. Movement within the valley is restricted, forcing any approach to pass within range of your hidden group. The environment itself is a weapon. Fallen trees provide cover, rocks and uneven ground create natural obstacles, and shadows obscure your positions. The principle is simple, yet deadly. Make the opponent's movement predictable, while keeping your own presence hidden. Every detail is deliberate, every decision calculated. The rival group appears in the distance, unaware of the trap awaiting them. They move cautiously, scanning for signs of danger, but the effectiveness of your tribe's concealment is evident. The group's approach slows as they enter the valley, each step placing them closer to the unseen threat. Your tribe remains silent, invisible, watching and calculating. The tension is almost unbearable. Every heartbeat seems louder, every sound more pronounced. The ambush is not merely physical, it is psychological, designed to instill hesitation, doubt, and miscalculation. Positioning is critical. Members of your tribe shift subtly, ensuring that each potential line of attack is covered. Spears are poised to strike, rocks positioned to roll with gravity's assistance, and clubs are held in readiness for rapid movement. Even the smallest detail, the angle of a shadow, the alignment of a branch, can affect the outcome. Prehistoric ambushes rely on careful observation and precise execution. One misstep can expose the group, turning an advantage into vulnerability. The first sign of disturbance comes as a snap of a twig, a sound so small it might have been overlooked if not for years of training. The rival group freezes, scanning the area. Your tribe holds position, waiting for the moment when hesitation becomes distraction. In this moment, patience is more important than action. The ambush is not yet triggered. The advantage lies in remaining unseen while the opponent is unaware. Every second of observation increases the likelihood of success. When the moment finally arrives, it is sudden, swift, and overwhelming. Spears are thrust from concealment, rocks roll down slopes, and hidden members move with precision to intercept and disorient. Chaos erupts in the valley, but the ambushers control the environment. Every movement of the opponent is anticipated, every retreat is guided, and every opportunity is exploited. Injuries occur, yet fatalities are minimized through skillful coordination. The ambush is not merely an attack, it is a demonstration of intelligence, timing, and mastery of terrain. Even in the aftermath, the art of the ambush extends beyond immediate victory. The rival group scatters, but observation continues. Footprints, displaced vegetation, and broken branches provide information about numbers, skill, and behavior. Your tribe records these lessons silently, internalizing patterns for future encounters. Prehistoric humans relied on experience and careful study, understanding that each skirmish, each ambush, and each encounter was a source of knowledge to be applied in subsequent challenges. Coordination within the tribe is as vital as stealth. Communication is subtle, using gestures, signals, and pre-agreed movements. Each member knows their role, who will block retreat, who will strike from the flank, who will observe and signal openings. Leadership emerges naturally, based on skill, insight, and the ability to maintain composure under pressure. Ambushes are exercises in teamwork, requiring synchronized action and trust. The group's survival depends on this cohesion, as individual mistakes can compromise the entire operation. The psychological aspect of ambush is equally important. Prey and rivals alike are susceptible to hesitation, misjudgment, and fear. By controlling when and how an attack occurs, your tribe manipulates perception, creating confusion and forcing errors. The unseen threat, combined with sudden aggression, amplifies the effect. Early humans understood the power of surprise. using it to gain advantage, even when outnumbered or physically inferior. Strategy, patience, and timing often outweighed brute force. Throughout the day, multiple ambush scenarios are practiced and executed. Some involve prey, teaching the group to anticipate movement and coordinate attack. Others simulate rival humans, focusing on deception, timing, and terrain exploitation. Each exercise reinforces skills critical for survival: observation, patience, coordination, and environmental mastery. The prehistoric world demands this versatility, where the boundaries between hunting and conflict are blurred, and every encounter requires the integration of skill, strategy, and instinct. As evening approaches, the tribe regroups, tending to any injuries, reviewing actions, and discussing lessons learned. The fires glow faintly, casting long shadows that mimic the day's practice. Younger members absorb the nuances of ambush tactics, learning to combine stealth, timing, and environmental understanding. Knowledge is transferred orally and through demonstration, ensuring that experience accumulates across generations. Survival depends not only on individual skill, but on the collective wisdom of the tribe. Nightfall brings quiet vigilance. Members rest in shifts, ensuring that no movement goes unnoticed. Weapons remain within reach, positions maintained, and strategies rehearsed mentally. The day's lessons in ambush, observation, and timing are internalized, ready to be applied again at dawn. In the prehistoric world, survival is a continuous process of learning, adapting, and applying knowledge. Each encounter, each moment of observation, and each decision in shadowed terrain contributes to the tribe's resilience. By the time the first light of the next day glimmers across the horizon, the tribe is ready once again. Ambushes are no longer theoretical exercises. They are lived experience, embedded in memory and reflex. The combination of strategy, skill, and environmental mastery ensures that the tribe can defend, hunt, and survive in a world where visibility is limited, danger is constant, and the line between life and death is measured in seconds. The art of the ambush, refined over countless encounters, demonstrates that early humans were not only physically capable, but intellectually adept. They understood psychology, terrain, timing, and coordination, using these elements to gain advantage in both hunting and human conflict. Every successful ambush reinforces the importance of preparation, patience, and observation. In the prehistoric world, intelligence, adaptability, and the ability to move unseen were as critical as speed, strength, or weapon skill. As night deepens, the tribe settles with quiet vigilance, ready to apply the lessons of ambush and strategy when necessary. Every day, every encounter, every observation is another step in mastering survival in a harsh, unpredictable, and unforgiving world. Prehistoric battles, whether against animals or rival humans, rely on cunning, patience, and careful coordination as much as on courage and strength. In the shadows of the Ice Age, the art of ambush ensured that your tribe endured, adapted, and thrived in a world defined by challenge, danger, and the constant need for intelligence in action. The day begins with a low mist blanketing the valley, blurring distant shapes and muting the sounds of movement. Your tribe gathers near the ridge, scanning the terrain for signs of other humans. The forest and plains stretch out before you, a maze of rocks, trees, and frozen streams. Today is different. The encounters of the past, small skirmishes, ambushes, and hunting challenges, have prepared the tribe. But now a larger confrontation looms. The stakes are higher, the strategies more complex, and the consequences of miscalculation far more severe. This is the clash of tribes, where experience, observation, and coordination are tested to the fullest. Your group spreads strategically, dividing roles and positions. Scouts are stationed to observe distant approaches, keeping track of movement, speed, and patterns. Warriors are positioned to block or intercept, while others prepare to create diversions. The terrain itself is leveraged carefully. Narrow ridges, dense thickets, and frozen streams are not just obstacles. They are tools to control movement, limit options, and shape the battlefield. Prehistoric humans understood that the environment could amplify strength, compensate for smaller numbers, and create opportunities that would not exist in open plains. The rival tribe approaches slowly, their movements deliberate. They, too, understand the importance of observation, patience, and positioning. Footprints in the frost, displaced branches, and subtle changes in snow and ice betray their progress. Your tribe signals silently, adjusting positions to optimize coverage, ensuring that the valley and forested ridges are fully protected. The tension is palpable. Every member's senses are heightened, every heartbeat echoing with anticipation. In these moments, preparation, timing, and knowledge of terrain define survival. Weapons are checked once more. Spears, clubs, and rocks are positioned according to strategic plans. Arching branches conceal points of attack, rocks are arranged for rolling down slopes, and narrow paths are monitored for possible intrusion. Even small features of the landscape, a depression in the snow, a fallen log, or a bend in the stream, become crucial in the unfolding conflict. Prehistoric warfare is not chaotic in its entirety. It relies on anticipation, adaptation, and understanding the interplay between environment, human behavior, and tactical advantage. The first encounter is cautious. A scout from the opposing tribe emerges, testing the boundary of your territory. Your members remain hidden, observing every gesture, noting posture, and estimating numbers. The scout pauses, unsure, scanning for threats. Your tribe holds position, allowing the scout to move into a pre-planned zone that maximizes the advantage of terrain and readiness. Timing is everything. The clash is not yet, but the seeds of confrontation have been sown. When the ambush is triggered, it is precise and coordinated. Spears fly from concealed positions, rocks roll with calculated force, and warriors move to intercept and flank. The rival tribe reacts quickly, but the preparation and positioning of your group give an undeniable advantage. Injuries occur, some serious, but fatalities are reduced through careful coordination and understanding of the terrain. In this prehistoric confrontation, strategy, observation, and timing outweigh mere physical strength or numbers. The clash evolves as both groups adapt in real time. Movements are sudden, decisions instantaneous. Some members focus on direct engagement, striking quickly and retreating to cover, while others manipulate the environment to channel movement, block escape routes, or create temporary barriers. Even snow, ice, and frozen streams play a role. Slippery surfaces slow the opponent. Hidden depressions cause missteps, and the uneven terrain allows for sudden shifts in advantage. Every step, Every action is measured, considered, and executed with intent. Communication is subtle but effective. Hand signals, brief sounds, and prearranged cues coordinate movement across distances. Leadership emerges naturally, guided by experience, observation, and the ability to anticipate reactions. Each member understands their role and the importance of timing, trust, and adaptability. In these prehistoric clashes, cohesion and teamwork often outweigh raw strength or individual prowess. Success relies on the group as a unit, functioning as a single organism in a dynamic, unpredictable environment. Observation continues even amid chaos. Every movement, gesture, and reaction is noted, providing information about the rival tribe's strengths, weaknesses, and tactics. Patterns emerge, preferred approaches, tendencies in combat, and responses to pressure. This intelligence is critical for future encounters. Prehistoric humans relied on observation and learning as much as on direct confrontation. Each skirmish was not only a test of skill, but also a lesson in behavior, strategy, and survival. The battle is punctuated by moments of pause. Rivals retreat temporarily, reassessing positions, while your tribe maintains vigilance, tracking movements and adjusting strategy. Even during these lulls, awareness remains high. The environment continues to shape decisions. Frozen ground limits mobility, ice-covered rocks serve as obstacles, and the forested edges provide cover. Understanding and exploiting these elements is crucial to maintaining advantage and minimizing risk. As the confrontation progresses, endurance becomes a factor. Fatigue affects speed, reaction, and judgment. Your tribe rotates members, allowing some to rest while others maintain positions, ensuring sustained readiness. This balance between engagement and recovery is vital in prolonged conflicts. Prehistoric humans understood that survival depended not only on immediate skill, but also on energy management, strategic rotation, and the ability to maintain focus over extended periods. By late afternoon, the tide of the clash begins to shift. The rival tribe, aware of the challenges posed by terrain, observation, and coordination, begins to withdraw. Your members track movements cautiously, ensuring the retreat is complete while avoiding overextension. Injuries are tended, weapons checked, and lessons internalized. The day's confrontation reinforces the importance of preparation, strategy, and adaptability. Victory in prehistoric conflicts is rarely absolute. Survival, learning, and territorial maintenance are equally significant. As the sun sets, casting long shadows over the landscape, the tribe regroups. Fires are lit carefully, weapons are readied for the night, and observations are shared. Younger members absorb the subtleties of the battle: timing, positioning, use of terrain, and coordinated response. The lessons of the day are stored, both mentally and physically, ensuring that knowledge is preserved and refined for future challenges. Nightfall brings cautious rest. The valley, once a site of intense conflict, becomes quiet under the soft glow of firelight and starlit sky. Members maintain watch, recognizing that survival in this prehistoric world requires vigilance at all hours. Weapons remain within reach, positions maintained, and strategies rehearsed mentally. The day's experiences in open confrontation, observation, and coordination solidify the understanding that intelligence, teamwork, and environmental mastery are as essential as physical strength. By the time dawn approaches again, the tribe is ready to face new challenges. The clash of tribes has reinforced lessons that extend beyond combat. Observation, strategy, and careful positioning are intertwined with survival, resource management, and social cohesion. Prehistoric battles, whether small skirmishes or larger confrontations, depend on the integration of skill, knowledge, and adaptability. Each encounter, each observation, and each decision informs future actions, ensuring that the tribe remains resilient in a world defined by uncertainty, danger, and the constant need for ingenuity. The day ends with reflection. Weapons are repaired, injuries tended, and strategies discussed. The tribe understands that survival is a continuous process of learning and adaptation. Every confrontation, every clash, and every maneuver contributes to collective knowledge, preparing the group for the unpredictable challenges of the prehistoric landscape. Intelligence, observation, and coordination prove to be the most reliable tools of survival, ensuring that the tribe endures, evolves, and thrives in an environment where danger is constant and life is never guaranteed. The morning sun rises slowly, melting frost into small rivulets that weave through the landscape like veins across the earth. Your tribe moves quietly, scanning the terrain for traces of the rival group from yesterday's clash. Tracking is both an art and a science, a skill honed through countless encounters and repeated observation. Every footprint, broken twig, displaced stone, and subtle indentation in the soil tells a story, revealing size, speed, direction, and even the mood of the individuals who passed by. In the prehistoric world, tracking the enemy is as crucial as weapons or strength. It is knowledge turned into advantage. The tribe spreads into a loose formation. Scouts take point, eyes trained to detect anomalies in the environment. Others follow slightly behind, prepared to react to unexpected developments. Every movement is deliberate, measured, and silent. The landscape itself challenges tracking. Snow may cover footprints, wind may erase impressions, and rain may distort tracks. Yet, skilled trackers can read layers of information hidden in plain sight. The direction of broken grass, the tilt of bent branches, the subtle compression of soil, these are all indicators of movement, time, and behavior. As your group progresses, a faint trail appears, barely distinguishable from natural disturbances. The scout crouches, examining the impressions, comparing them with knowledge of past encounters. Size, depth, and spacing suggest the number of individuals, their relative speed, and whether they are carrying heavy loads. These observations allow the tribe to anticipate possible strategies, likely reactions, and potential ambush points. In the prehistoric world, foresight could mean the difference between life and death. Communication is subtle, relying on gestures, whispers, and pre-arranged signals. The scouts indicate the direction, the size of the party, and any immediate risks. The rest of the tribe adjusts, spacing themselves to avoid detection, preparing for potential confrontation, or planning intercept points. Tracking is not merely about following footprints, it is about interpreting behavior, predicting movement, and manipulating the environment to one's advantage. The rival group is moving cautiously, leaving signs that suggest they are aware of being followed. Disturbed foliage, hastily hidden tools, and irregular foot placements indicate vigilance and adaptation. Your tribe must respond in kind, maintaining stealth while gathering intelligence. Even in this pursuit, every movement is calculated, balancing speed with caution. Prehistoric humans understood that rushing could lead to mistakes, revealing positions, or missing subtle cues that would otherwise provide critical advantage. As the day progresses, the trail becomes more complex. Tracks split, suggesting scouting or diversionary tactics by the rival group. Some footprints lead toward a dense thicket, while others veer toward a frozen stream. The tribe must interpret these signs, deciding whether to follow all paths or anticipate convergence points. This requires understanding of both the environment and human behavior. Tracking is not linear. It is an active, analytical process, combining observation, deduction, and experience. The scouts pause near a bend in the stream, observing faint disturbances in the ice. Someone has tested the crossing, likely seeking the most secure route. The tribe studies the evidence, noting which stones were stepped on, which ice sheets might hold weight, and how the rival group may react to obstacles. Anticipating human reaction becomes as important as reading the landscape. Prehistoric trackers learned to think like their opponents, predicting paths, hesitations, and strategies before the first confrontation occurred. Snowstorms reduce visibility, freezing rain hardens surfaces, and the uneven terrain makes movement unpredictable. Your tribe adapts constantly, adjusting pace, choosing alternative routes, and modifying observation techniques. Even fatigue is factored into decisions. The trackers understand how exhaustion affects both their tribe and the rival group. Every aspect of the chase, speed, endurance, observation, and adaptation intertwines to shape strategy and outcome. By mid-afternoon, the tribe identifies signs that suggest the rival group has set a temporary camp. Charred stones, disturbed foliage, and partially concealed fire remnants indicate location, approximate size, and possibly activity patterns. This information allows your group to plan the next move, whether to attempt a direct confrontation, observe further, or set an ambush at the anticipated departure point. Tracking is inseparable from strategic decision-making. Knowledge gained through observation is directly applied to actions that can ensure survival or victory. While observing, the tribe also notes patterns in behavior. The rival group shows signs of caution, careful placement of belongings, hidden approaches to water sources, and irregular movement within the camp. These subtle cues suggest intelligence and adaptability, requiring your tribe to respond thoughtfully. Every detail, no matter how small, informs decisions. The timing of movement, choice of approach, and readiness of weapons are all influenced by careful study. Prehistoric tracking is as much about psychological insight as physical observation. The day advances into late afternoon. Your tribe maintains a delicate balance, remaining undetected while gathering maximum information. Scouts return intermittently, reporting findings and adjusting positions. The information gained is synthesized rapidly. Numbers, movements, terrain advantages, potential escape routes, and behavioral tendencies are all considered. This process demonstrates that prehistoric tracking is not passive. It is an active, dynamic integration of observation, interpretation, and decision-making. Finally, as the sun dips low, the tribe identifies a convergence point. Trails indicate that the rival group will need to pass through a narrow gorge to reach shelter before nightfall. This knowledge transforms tracking into strategic advantage. Positions are adjusted, weapons prepared, and signals reviewed. The landscape itself becomes a tool once more, shaping the upcoming confrontation and increasing the likelihood of success. In prehistoric survival, tracking is not an end in itself. It is the means by which intelligence becomes actionable advantage. Night approaches, bringing reduced visibility and increased danger. Fires from distant camps flicker, revealing both position and activity, yet also serving as points to monitor movement. Your tribe adapts to darkness, relying on sound, smell, and memory of terrain to maintain advantage. Tracking is continuous, even under reduced sensory input, requiring heightened awareness and discipline. Prehistoric humans learned to extend observation beyond sight, integrating multiple senses to maintain understanding of their environment and the movements of others within it. By nightfall, the rival group moves into the gorge, unaware of the calculated positions awaiting them. Your tribe's careful tracking, observation, and strategic anticipation ensure that every movement is understood and every potential risk accounted for. The knowledge gained through hours of tracking is now ready to be applied in positioning for engagement, pursuit, or ambush. In the prehistoric world, the line between survival and peril is defined by such mastery, reading the environment, interpreting behavior, and acting with precision. As the tribe rests briefly, reflecting on the day's observations, the lessons of tracking are clear. Success depends on more than physical ability. It requires patience, insight, and a continuous engagement with both terrain and human behavior. Every footprint, broken branch, and displaced stone carries information. Understanding this information allows the tribe to anticipate threats, plan strategies, and maintain control over outcomes. Prehistoric battles are therefore as much about intelligence, observation, and prediction as they are about weapons, strength, or courage. The night ends with the tribe ready to act, armed not only with spears and clubs, but with knowledge gained through patient observation. The rival group's movements are anticipated, the environment leveraged, and every possible advantage accounted for. Tracking is no longer just a survival skill. It is a force multiplier, turning insight into tactical power. Prehistoric humans mastered the art of reading signs in the world around them, applying this knowledge with precision to ensure survival, dominance, and continuity. As the first light of dawn filters through the trees, the tribe prepares for the next stage. Tracking has provided not only intelligence, but confidence, the ability to move with purpose, anticipate danger, and shape outcomes. In the Ice Age and prehistoric world, the ability to follow, interpret, and predict rival behavior is as critical as strength, weapons, or endurance. Survival and success in battles depend on this combination of skill, observation, and application, ensuring that knowledge transforms into action and that the tribe thrives in a world defined by uncertainty, danger, and relentless challenges. The morning is quiet, almost unnervingly so. Frost clings to the underbrush, the air carries the faint scent of damp earth, and the distant calls of animals echo through the valleys. Your tribe moves cautiously, aware that survival depends not only on skill and weapons, but on understanding the minds of both allies and rivals. Prehistoric battles were as much psychological contests as they were physical confrontations. Fear, anticipation, aggression, and confidence influenced every action, shaping decisions in ways that could determine life or death. Today, the lesson is clear. Mastery of the mind is as crucial as mastery of the spear. The tribe gathers to discuss yesterday's encounters, but even in these quiet moments, observation continues. Faces are studied, movements noted, and subtle expressions read. Leaders understand that morale and perception are pivotal. Confidence spreads like wildfire through a group, while hesitation or doubt can erode cohesion within seconds. In prehistoric societies, mental acuity and emotional regulation were as vital as speed, strength, or skill with weapons. Warriors needed to remain calm under pressure, anticipate reactions, and exploit psychological advantages whenever possible. Fear is one of the most potent forces. The unknown, whether the terrain, rival humans, or unfamiliar predators, induces a natural stress response. But fear can be manipulated, both internally and externally. Prehistoric humans learned to recognize the signs of nervousness in others: fleeting glances, uneven steps, hesitation in movement, or subtle changes in posture. By observing these cues, a tribe could adjust strategies, press an advantage, or even intimidate an opponent into retreat without a single strike. The battlefield was a theater of perception, where psychological dominance could outweigh raw physical power. Motivation is equally critical. Individuals must be willing to risk injury or death for survival, for the protection of kin, or for access to essential resources. Prehistoric warriors were driven by necessity, understanding that failure could mean starvation, exposure, or death. Yet motivation also had a social dimension. Tribal cohesion, reputation, and the desire for status within the group encouraged cooperation and courage. Leaders maintained morale by demonstrating confidence, sharing knowledge, and rewarding initiative, ensuring that the group operated as a cohesive unit under pressure. Anticipation and prediction are key mental skills. Reading subtle patterns of behavior, understanding likely responses, and predicting movement were as important as knowing the trajectory of a thrown spear. Prehistoric humans observed rivals closely, noting tendencies, preferences, and patterns of behavior. They could foresee potential ambushes, counteractions, and traps, and adjust tactics accordingly. The psychological landscape of conflict was as complex as the physical one, requiring intelligence, adaptability, and situational awareness. Training and preparation often reinforced psychological resilience. Even in moments of calm, members of the tribe practiced mental discipline, imagining possible scenarios, rehearsing responses, and internalizing strategies. Anticipating fear, exhaustion, and uncertainty allowed warriors to act decisively under pressure. Cognitive flexibility became a survival skill, enabling individuals to adapt to rapidly changing circumstances, maintain composure, and execute plans effectively. Leadership is inseparable from psychology. A calm, confident leader instills courage, organizes action, and maintains focus under duress. The ability to read the group, distribute tasks appropriately, and motivate individuals enhances both performance and safety. Prehistoric leaders likely relied on a combination of experience, observation, and social influence to maintain cohesion. Trust in leadership mitigated fear, amplified strengths, and allowed the tribe to operate as a coordinated unit even in the chaos of battle. Communication, both verbal and nonverbal, is a psychological tool. Gestures, signals, and vocalizations convey information while also managing perception. Silence can suggest hidden strength, while sudden noise can startle or intimidate opponents. Even subtle movements, shifting a spear, raising a shield, or stepping forward with confidence, send signals that influence both allies and adversaries. In this way, every action on the prehistoric battlefield carries psychological weight, intentionally or not. Observation of opponents is equally vital. Prehistoric humans scanned for micro-expressions, shifts in stance, hesitation, or patterns of movement that could indicate fear, indecision, or overconfidence. Recognizing these signs allowed tribes to exploit weaknesses, adjust timing, and coordinate attacks more effectively. The battlefield was a constant exchange of psychological cues, with survival depending on the ability to perceive, interpret, and act on information instantly. Confidence is contagious. Warriors who move decisively, strike boldly, and maintain composure influence the behavior of both allies and opponents. Conversely, hesitation or visible fear can destabilize a group. Prehistoric humans understood that morale was fluid and could be influenced by both action and perception. By maintaining psychological dominance, a tribe could achieve success even in situations where raw physical advantage was lacking. Stress management is critical in prolonged encounters. Fatigue, hunger, and environmental challenges exacerbate fear and reduce effectiveness. Prehistoric humans developed strategies to maintain focus, conserve energy, and regulate emotional responses. These included pacing, rotation of responsibilities, and careful attention to resources. Mental endurance allowed warriors to remain functional, alert, and effective even under extreme conditions, ensuring that the group could adapt and survive. Social dynamics also influenced psychological outcomes. Cooperation, trust, and shared goals reinforced cohesion. Individuals motivated by loyalty, kinship, or social status were more likely to act decisively, support one another, and maintain focus. Prehistoric tribes relied on these bonds to create a sense of collective responsibility and shared purpose, turning psychological strength into tangible advantage on the battlefield. Imagination and scenario planning further enhanced preparedness. Members of the tribe could mentally rehearse potential encounters, considering multiple contingencies, outcomes, and responses. This cognitive rehearsal reduced hesitation, clarified decisions, and improved the speed and accuracy of action when events unfolded in real time. Prehistoric humans may have relied on this ability to anticipate threats, organize coordinated responses, and maintain control under unpredictable conditions. Psychological warfare extended beyond immediate confrontations. Prehistoric humans could use the environment, noise, and movement to create fear or uncertainty. The rustle of leaves, the crack of a branch, or the sudden appearance of a hidden warrior could induce hesitation or panic in opponents. These tactics relied on understanding perception and manipulating the opponent's response, demonstrating that survival depended on intellect as much as on strength. The day progresses, and the tribe engages in exercises to reinforce these psychological skills. Simulated ambushes, tracking drills, and mock confrontations allow members to practice observation, anticipation, and emotional regulation. Younger members learn by example, absorbing lessons on timing, composure, and leadership. In this way, psychological preparedness is integrated with physical skill, creating warriors who are both capable and adaptable. By afternoon, the tribe reviews recent encounters, discussing successes, failures, and lessons learned. Reflection and analysis sharpen understanding, reinforce strategies, and prepare the group for future challenges. This mental rehearsal is as essential as practice with weapons or coordination drills. In the prehistoric world, thinking ahead, interpreting signals, and managing fear were integral to survival and dominance. As evening approaches, the tribe moves cautiously through the terrain. Weapons are ready, positions are calculated, and every step is measured. Members remain alert to subtle cues, whether from the environment, animals, or potential rivals. The lessons of psychological warfare are applied continuously, ensuring that the group remains vigilant, coordinated, and confident. The ability to read, influence, and anticipate human behavior transforms knowledge into survival, making every member more than a physical presence. They are observers, analysts, and strategists. Night descends, bringing a quiet vigilance. Even as the tribe rests, minds remain active, reviewing observations, anticipating movement, and reinforcing strategies. The psychological resilience, developed over years through countless encounters and careful observation, ensures that the group can function effectively even under extreme stress. Prehistoric humans relied on this combination of mental and physical preparation to navigate the dangers of their world, maintaining cohesion, effectiveness, and adaptability. As dawn returns, the tribe is ready to face whatever challenges arise. Understanding the mind, both their own and that of others, has become as vital as weapons, tracking, or tactics. Survival in the prehistoric world required mastery of fear, anticipation, observation, and social cohesion. The psychological edge gained through preparation, insight, and coordination often determined outcomes as decisively as any spear, rock, or ambush. The day ends with reflection. The lessons of mental resilience, perception, and strategy are stored in memory, ready to guide action in future encounters. Prehistoric warriors understood that survival was not simply a matter of strength or skill. It was a continuous exercise in psychological mastery, integrating knowledge, observation, and emotion to navigate a world of uncertainty, danger, and relentless challenge. The morning air is crisp, carrying the faint scent of pine and damp earth as your tribe gathers near the edge of a clearing. Today's focus is clear: weapons and innovation, the tools that transformed survival and combat in the prehistoric world. Every spear, club, and stone is more than just a physical instrument. It is the product of observation, experimentation, and adaptation. Prehistoric humans were constantly refining these tools, learning from experience, trial, and error. In the harsh landscape, innovation was not a luxury. It was the difference between life and death. The first lesson begins with the spear, the quintessential weapon of hunting and combat. Early versions were simple: sharpened sticks, hardened by fire, or reinforced with stone tips. But even these rudimentary tools required skill. The angle of the point, the weight of the shaft, and the balance between force and accuracy all influenced effectiveness. Your tribe practices the throwing motion repeatedly, noting how variations affect distance, penetration, and trajectory. Each adjustment is based on careful observation of both the weapon and the target, whether animal or human. Stone tools demonstrate ingenuity at a higher level. Flint and obsidian are selected for their sharpness and durability, shaped through repeated striking and grinding. Tools are specialized: cutting, scraping, piercing, or bludgeoning, each designed for specific purposes. Even minor differences in shape or thickness can determine success or failure in hunting or combat. Prehistoric humans experimented constantly, combining materials, refining techniques, and learning through observation to create the most effective tools possible under available resources. Clubs and maces, seemingly simple, reveal a similar story of innovation. Early humans discovered that adding weight to the striking end increased impact, while balancing the handle improved control. Some clubs were reinforced with stone, bone, or hardened wood, maximizing effectiveness while minimizing effort. Training with these tools required understanding leverage, timing, and targeting. Every strike needed precision, even in moments of chaos, and mastery transformed a crude instrument into a deadly extension of the body. The bow and arrow represent another leap in innovation. Flexible wood, sinew, and feathers combine to create a weapon capable of striking from distance, allowing hunters and warriors to engage without direct confrontation. Accuracy depends on both skill and observation, understanding the mechanics of the bow, the weight of the arrow, and the trajectory needed to hit moving targets. Prehistoric humans learned through practice, adapting techniques to environmental conditions, wind, and terrain. Each arrow released is not merely a physical act, but a demonstration of planning, knowledge, and dexterity. Weapons evolved in response to both opportunity and necessity. The presence of larger prey or rival groups demanded more effective tools. Innovations arose from experimentation, attaching flint tips to spears, creating weighted clubs, or reinforcing handles with sinew. Trial and error, combined with careful observation, allowed these early humans to adapt continuously, refining designs to meet the demands of survival and combat. Every modification carried lessons, passed orally or through demonstration, ensuring the cumulative knowledge of generations. Materials themselves offer insight into innovation. Stone, bone, wood, and sinew were not randomly chosen, but carefully selected for durability, availability, and effectiveness. Understanding the properties of each material, its flexibility, strength, and potential failure points was critical. Prehistoric humans observed nature, noting how branches bend, how bones fracture, and how rocks break, then applied these insights to weapon design. Innovation was deeply tied to observation, trial, and practical experimentation. Weapon training was as much about coordination as individual skill. Groups practiced together, timing attacks, covering flanks, and synchronizing movements. Even a simple spear thrust could be made more effective through coordinated effort. One warrior distracts, another strikes at an exposed point. The combination of tools and tactics created an exponential effect, where preparation and innovation magnified effectiveness on the battlefield. Prehistoric humans understood that the collective use of weapons amplified their impact beyond what any individual could achieve alone. Innovation also extended to defense. Shields, made from wood, hide, or reinforced materials, were used to block attacks, protect the group, and create psychological advantage. Observing opponents' weapon use allowed for defensive adaptations, adjusting shape, weight, and grip to counter specific threats. Defensive innovation was continuous, reflecting the dynamic interplay between attack, counterattack, and environmental conditions. Prehistoric humans understood that survival often required both offensive and defensive adaptation. Environmental factors influenced weapon development. In cold regions, frost-hardened wood or stone tips were used. In wet areas, materials resistant to water were preferred. Terrain dictated design. Weapons suitable for open plains differed from those adapted to dense forests or rocky valleys. Innovation was never abstract. It was always practical, shaped by immediate survival needs and available resources. The prehistoric world demanded that tools evolve as quickly as the challenges they addressed. Even small innovations carried significant impact. A slightly sharper spearhead could penetrate thicker hide. A heavier club could incapacitate with fewer strikes. A better balanced bow allowed greater accuracy at longer ranges. These incremental improvements, refined over generations, accumulated into formidable advantages. Prehistoric humans relied on this continuous refinement, ensuring that experience, observation, and experimentation translated directly into enhanced capability. Observation of opponents also drove innovation. Seeing how rival groups hunted, defended, or attacked revealed weaknesses to exploit or techniques to adopt. This constant feedback loop encouraged adaptation. Tools were refined, tactics adjusted, and strategies reimagined. Innovation was not isolated, but deeply social, emerging from both competition and shared knowledge within the tribe. Every encounter provided lessons, every victory and failure informed design. Crafting weapons also required resource management. Prehistoric humans balanced immediate needs with long-term survival, deciding when to invest time in refining a spear versus conserving materials. Tools were repaired, reused, and adapted, reflecting an understanding of durability, scarcity, and utility. Innovation was therefore both creative and practical, combining intelligence, foresight, and skill. The ability to transform natural materials into effective instruments of survival demonstrates the ingenuity of early humans. Training with weapons reinforced not only physical skill, but cognitive awareness. Anticipating how a spear would behave upon impact, how a club might respond to a block, or how an arrow's trajectory changes with wind required both practice and understanding. Prehistoric humans integrated observation, trial, and repetition into their training, ensuring that innovation was matched with mastery. Weapons alone were insufficient. Skillful application amplified their effectiveness. As the day progresses, your tribe tests new innovations. Spear tips are adjusted for aerodynamics, clubs are balanced for maximum impact, and bows are fine-tuned for range and accuracy. Observations of previous encounters guide improvements, while collective experimentation ensures that lessons are shared across the group. Prehistoric innovation was communal, iterative, and deeply practical, with knowledge passed through demonstration, repetition, and careful observation. By late afternoon, the tribe has refined several new adaptations. Some weapons are designed for rapid, repeated strikes, others for precision and penetration. Shields are tested against different angles of attack, and bows are calibrated for various distances. The combination of tools, training, and observation ensures that the group is prepared for both hunting and combat. Innovation, in this context, is inseparable from survival, skill, and collective learning. Evening brings reflection. The tribe reviews successes, failures, and lessons learned. Tools are maintained, repaired, and prepared for future use. New insights are discussed, debated, and demonstrated, ensuring that knowledge is retained and refined. Prehistoric humans understood that innovation is a continuous process, shaped by necessity, observation, and practical experience. The survival of the tribe depended on the ability to adapt, improve, and apply these lessons effectively. Night falls, and the fires glow softly, casting long shadows across the ground. Weapons are kept close, not only for immediate use, but as symbols of readiness and adaptation. The day's lessons in innovation, observation, and practical application reinforce a key principle. Survival and success in the prehistoric world were defined by the ability to create, refine, and skillfully apply tools in a dynamic and often hostile environment. As dawn approaches again, your tribe is prepared, not merely with weapons, but with knowledge, skill, and the adaptability to confront unpredictable challenges. Innovation has transformed ordinary materials into instruments of survival, combining human intelligence, observation, and practice. Prehistoric humans mastered these tools not in isolation, but as part of a continuous cycle of experimentation, adaptation, and learning, ensuring that each day, each battle, and each hunt reinforced both individual skill and collective capability. The morning fog clings low to the ground, drifting between trees and boulders like a ghostly river. Your tribe assembles in the clearing, not just to observe or hunt, but to practice the subtleties of group tactics and strategy. Prehistoric battles were rarely chaotic free-for-alls. They depended on coordination, timing, and the shared understanding of movement. Every member had a role. Every step was calculated, and every observation informed the next action. Survival relied on the ability to work together, to anticipate the enemy, and to manipulate both terrain and timing to collective advantage. The first lesson begins with positioning. In a natural formation, whether a narrow valley, forested ridge, or open plain, the tribe arranges itself strategically. Scouts take forward positions, observing distant movement. Warriors occupy the center, ready to respond to sudden threats or engage directly. Flankers move along the edges, prepared to intercept or envelop the enemy. Even the youngest or less experienced members are given roles, carrying tools, watching for wildlife, or relaying signals. Prehistoric humans understood that a coordinated group is exponentially more effective than unconnected individuals. Communication is subtle yet critical. A raised hand, a slight whistle, or a movement of the head conveys intentions without alerting an enemy. Prehistoric tribes relied on these signals to coordinate movement across distances where voice could carry too far or be intercepted. Timing, repetition, and clear understanding ensured that everyone acted in concert. In these environments, coordination was a tool as powerful as any weapon, turning preparation into decisive advantage. The terrain itself shapes tactics. Hills, rivers, and forests are more than obstacles. They are tools to control movement, limit options, and channel the enemy into disadvantageous positions. Prehistoric humans studied their environment carefully, learning how to exploit natural features to enhance group strategy. Narrow passes allow smaller forces to hold off larger numbers. Elevated ridges provide oversight and control. Hidden thickets offer cover for ambush. Mastery of terrain is a core aspect of group tactics. One exercise involves flanking maneuvers. A small subset of the tribe moves silently along the edges, circling behind the enemy, while the rest hold position to lure or distract. Timing is everything. If the flanking group moves too early, the trap fails. Too late, and the distraction may collapse prematurely. Through repeated practice, members internalize patterns, learning both their role and the timing of others. Prehistoric humans depended on such coordination to maximize the effectiveness of smaller forces and exploit opportunities that strength alone could not achieve. Ambushes are another critical tactic. The tribe conceals itself along known paths or natural choke points. Observation of enemy movement informs timing, position, and method of engagement. When the moment is right, the group strikes simultaneously, overwhelming the opponent before they can react. Coordination is reinforced through practice. Each member understands how their action contributes to the overall success. In this way, group tactics transform individual skill into collective power. Rotation and endurance are incorporated into strategy. In prolonged encounters, members alternate roles. Frontline warriors rest while others hold position, ensuring sustained vigilance and reduced fatigue. Observing and anticipating opponent movement allows for efficient use of energy, minimizing unnecessary exposure while maintaining readiness. Prehistoric humans learned that endurance, coordination, and patience were as important as aggression or raw physical power. Observation continues even during engagement. Each action of an opponent is noted. Hesitations, missteps, or patterns reveal weaknesses to exploit. The tribe adapts in real time, shifting positions, adjusting timing, and modifying approach based on observed behavior. Prehistoric tactics were dynamic, requiring constant attention, communication, and adaptability. The ability to read both environment and opponent in real time is as essential as training or weapon skill. Defensive strategy is equally important. The tribe establishes fallback positions, shelters, and barriers using natural features or quickly improvised obstacles. Scouts monitor potential approach routes, ensuring that surprise attacks are minimized. Defensive coordination allows the group to absorb pressure, regroup, and counterattack effectively. In prehistoric warfare, surviving the first engagement often dictated the outcome of an entire conflict. The psychological dimension of group tactics cannot be overstated. Cohesion, trust, and morale influence performance. Members rely on shared understanding, reinforced through repeated practice, observation, and social bonds. Leaders provide guidance, adjusting strategy based on both terrain and opponent behavior. Confidence spreads across the group, while hesitation or uncertainty can be mitigated through clear roles and coordinated action. Prehistoric humans recognized that mental cohesion was inseparable from tactical effectiveness. As the day progresses, the tribe experiments with combined tactics. Scouts lure, flanking units intercept, and warriors engage from advantageous positions. Coordination multiplies effectiveness. A single well-timed movement can disrupt an opponent's formation, forcing mistakes, or opening paths to retreat. Every member contributes, and the success of the group depends on both individual skill and synchronized execution. Prehistoric humans internalize these lessons through repeated practice and shared experience. Observation informs refinement. Mistakes are noted, timing adjusted, and roles reassessed. The group evaluates how terrain, timing, and human behavior interact, learning to predict likely outcomes and maximize efficiency. Strategy evolves continuously, shaped by experience and reflection. Prehistoric tactics were iterative. Each encounter provided information that informed the next engagement, improving effectiveness and increasing the likelihood of survival. Even mundane tasks support tactical development. Carrying tools, maintaining positions, and moving through terrain quietly all reinforce discipline, timing, and coordination. Prehistoric humans trained constantly, integrating survival skills with tactical awareness. This continuous practice ensured that when confrontation arose, every member knew their role, understood timing, and could act instinctively within the larger strategy. Nightfall brings a change in focus. While physical confrontation may be paused, observation, planning, and preparation continue. Scouts monitor movement, track possible threats, and report back. Leaders assess terrain, potential ambush points, and resource management. The psychological element remains active. Vigilance, anticipation, and strategic thinking persist, ensuring the tribe remains prepared for both immediate and future encounters. Rest is managed carefully. Even while members sleep, rotations maintain readiness. Knowledge of potential threats, positions, and patterns of behavior ensures that the tribe is never fully vulnerable. Prehistoric humans integrated strategy into all aspects of daily life, recognizing that survival depended on constant awareness, planning, and coordination. By dawn, the tribe is fully prepared. Group tactics have been refined through practice, observation, and experience. Members understand their roles, anticipate the enemy, and can adapt in real time. The combination of weapons, terrain, psychological awareness, and coordinated strategy transforms the group into a cohesive, formidable unit. Prehistoric battles were won not merely through strength or weaponry, but through the integration of knowledge, observation, and collective action. As the sun rises, the tribe moves forward with confidence, prepared to face rivals, predators, and environmental challenges. Every maneuver, every decision, and every coordinated action reflects lessons learned through centuries of human adaptation and experience. Prehistoric humans relied on these group tactics to maximize survival, minimize risk, and ensure that knowledge, skill, and strategy were applied effectively. The day closes with reflection and preparation. Tools are maintained, positions rehearsed, and strategies discussed. Members share observations, adjust timing, and reinforce social cohesion. This continuous refinement ensures that the tribe remains resilient, capable, and adaptive. In the prehistoric world, group tactics were not just battlefield techniques. They were a way of life, integrating observation, intelligence, communication, and coordination into the fundamental practice of survival. The morning air is heavy with mist, curling around boulders and low-lying shrubs, concealing shapes and creating an environment perfect for stealth. Your tribe moves cautiously, understanding that ambushes and traps are among the most effective ways to gain advantage in the prehistoric world. Prehistoric humans recognized that direct confrontation often carried high risk, and cunning could be as lethal as strength or numbers. Mastery of concealment, patience, and timing transformed ordinary landscapes into lethal stages, where the element of surprise could determine life or death. The first lesson is observation. Every potential ambush site is studied meticulously. Tracks, broken branches, and animal behavior provide clues about the movements of both rival humans and predators. Prehistoric humans were keenly aware that understanding patterns and anticipating movement is critical. They observed seasonal behaviors, common paths, and predictable routines, then used this information to choose locations where a strike would have maximum impact with minimal exposure. Knowledge becomes both weapon and shield. Concealment is not merely hiding, it is integration with the environment. The tribe uses natural features, trees, rocks, dense vegetation, to remain unseen. Bodies are positioned to blend with shadows and terrain contours, while minimal movement and controlled breathing reduce detection. Camouflage is functional and practical. Mud, leaves, and shadows break outlines, while noise is carefully managed. Even small errors can compromise an ambush, and prehistoric humans learn to refine these techniques through trial, observation, and disciplined practice. Traps are an extension of stealth and planning. They range from simple pitfalls to intricate snares that rely on mechanical advantage. Branches propped to collapse, pits hidden with foliage, or tripwires designed to alert the group all require careful preparation. Materials are chosen for strength and durability, and the placement is dictated by both terrain and knowledge of enemy behavior. Prehistoric humans understood that a single well-placed trap could disrupt, injure, or immobilize opponents, providing a significant tactical advantage without direct confrontation. Timing is the essence of a successful ambush. Warriors remain still for hours, sometimes in uncomfortable positions, waiting for the exact moment when movement, visibility, and positioning align. Patience and discipline are essential. A premature attack could alert the opponent, while hesitation may allow them to pass safely. Prehistoric humans integrated environmental cues, observation of prey or rival patterns, and intuition to determine the optimal moment. Every second matters, and the ability to wait while maintaining focus distinguishes the successful from the unsuccessful. Coordination magnifies the effectiveness of ambushes. Scouts may position themselves along multiple approach routes, signaling when movement is detected. Some warriors create distractions to lure the target into the trap, while others remain concealed, ready to strike. Synchronization ensures that when action is taken, it is overwhelming, leaving little room for counteraction. Prehistoric humans recognized that collaboration and timing could turn a small group into a force capable of controlling larger, stronger opponents. Psychological impact is another critical factor. The sudden appearance of hidden attackers, the noise of falling traps, and the chaos of surprise can induce panic. Opponents may flee, misjudge terrain, or act irrationally, creating opportunities for exploitation. Prehistoric humans understood that fear, confusion, and uncertainty are powerful allies in battle. By controlling perception and manipulating the environment, ambushes amplify the effect of limited physical resources. Observation during ambush preparation continues relentlessly. Tracks are read, wind direction is assessed, and the behavior of animals may provide additional cues. Environmental conditions are factored in. Slippery ground, shadows, and even sound propagation affect both the effectiveness of concealment and the chances of detection. Prehistoric humans integrated all these variables into their planning, ensuring that ambushes were carefully calculated rather than improvised. Innovation in traps is constant. Simple pitfalls may be enhanced with sharpened stakes, weighted branches, or strategically placed stones. Rope, vines, or sinew are used to create mechanical triggers or restraint devices. The goal is efficiency, to incapacitate or control movement while minimizing risk to the ambushing group. Prehistoric humans experimented continually, learning through success and failure, ensuring that knowledge accumulated and improved over time. Flexibility is essential. An ambush plan may need adjustment if conditions change or if the opponent acts unpredictably. Warriors must be ready to adapt instantaneously, repositioning, altering timing, or even aborting the plan if required. The ability to improvise within a carefully structured framework reflects the combination of skill, observation, and intelligence that defined prehistoric combat. Adaptation turns preparation into survival. Scouting is intimately linked to ambush tactics. Scouts monitor movements over hours or days, noting habitual paths, timings, and vulnerabilities. This intelligence informs both the selection of ambush sites and the placement of traps. Prehistoric humans relied on careful observation to minimize uncertainty, turning data into actionable advantage. Knowledge of terrain and opponent behavior allows for precise execution with minimal risk. Environmental manipulation is another tool. Brush may be rearranged to create concealment, rocks positioned to channel movement, and natural sounds used to distract or mislead. Prehistoric humans understood that the landscape is not merely a stage, but a resource that can be actively shaped to influence outcomes. Clever use of natural features often magnified the effectiveness of relatively small groups, allowing strategic dominance despite limited numbers. Safety for the ambushing group is carefully considered. Escape routes are planned, fallback positions designated, and signals prepared for rapid withdrawal if the situation deteriorates. Even as traps are set and concealment perfected, the tribe ensures that exposure is minimized. Survival depends on both offensive capability and defensive foresight. Prehistoric humans recognized that a failed ambush without retreat options could be catastrophic, turning strategic advantage into vulnerability. During execution, every movement is synchronized. Signals are used to coordinate timing, ensuring simultaneous engagement. Precision in action maximizes impact while minimizing risk. The chaos induced by sudden attack creates openings for further exploitation, allowing the group to control engagement and dictate the flow of battle. Prehistoric humans mastered this orchestration through repeated practice and careful observation, refining techniques across generations. After the ambush, observation continues. The tribe assesses effectiveness, identifies mistakes, and records lessons learned. Injuries, environmental challenges, and opponent reactions provide feedback, informing future tactics. Prehistoric humans integrated these observations into ongoing practice, ensuring continuous improvement. Ambushes are not merely isolated events, they are opportunities for learning, adaptation, and refinement of strategy. Nightfall brings both caution and reflection. Traps are checked, positions reviewed, and potential threats monitored. The psychological component persists. Awareness, vigilance, and anticipation are maintained even during rest. Prehistoric humans integrated the principles of ambush and surprise into daily survival, ensuring readiness for both hunting and human conflict. Knowledge, preparation, and observation remain paramount. As dawn approaches, the tribe is prepared to continue their operations. Ambushes and traps have demonstrated that intelligence, observation, timing, and coordination often outweigh brute force. Prehistoric humans leveraged these tools to control outcomes, enhance survival, and assert dominance over both rivals and environment. Success depends not only on skill and equipment, but on continuous adaptation, learning, and disciplined execution. The day concludes with reflection. Members share observations, discuss successes and failures, and maintain equipment and traps. These routines reinforce learning, ensuring that knowledge is preserved and enhanced. Prehistoric humans relied on continuous practice, observation, and innovation to ensure that every encounter, ambush, and trap became an opportunity to refine skill and improve survival outcomes. The morning is still and quiet, the kind of silence that makes every rustle, snap, or distant cry feel amplified. Your tribe gathers in a natural clearing, not just to prepare for conflict, but to examine one of the most critical factors in survival and victory: leadership. In prehistoric battles, as in all aspects of tribal life, leadership determined cohesion, efficiency, and adaptability. It was not simply about strength or courage. It was about decision-making, timing, and the ability to inspire trust and coordinate complex action under pressure. The leader was the thread that wove together observation, skill, and strategy, creating a tapestry capable of withstanding the chaos of conflict. Leadership begins with awareness. A good leader observes constantly, noting both environmental cues and the behavior of allies and opponents. Small details: a movement in the brush, an uneven step, a shift in wind direction, become critical pieces of information that inform decisions. Prehistoric humans understood that awareness was not passive. It required active engagement, interpretation, and rapid response. The leader must see both the immediate and the potential, anticipating events before they occur, and shaping outcomes through informed action. Decision-making under uncertainty defines leadership. In a battle, conditions change rapidly, opponents move unpredictably, terrain offers unexpected challenges, and members of the tribe may falter under stress. Leaders must weigh options quickly, choosing paths that maximize survival while minimizing risk. Every choice carries consequences, and hesitation can be fatal. Prehistoric leaders relied on experience, observation, and instinct, combining these tools to navigate uncertainty effectively. The ability to act decisively in the face of incomplete information was essential. Communication is another pillar. Leaders convey intent clearly, often through subtle signals, gestures, or vocal commands that coordinate group action. In the prehistoric world, these communications had to be immediate, understood across distances, and adaptable to context. Prehistoric humans developed systems of signaling that allowed groups to act in concert, maintaining cohesion even in the heat of engagement. The skill of transmitting intention without causing confusion is central to effective leadership. Trust is vital. The group must believe in the leader's competence, judgment, and awareness. Without trust, coordination collapses, hesitation spreads, and morale diminishes. Prehistoric leaders cultivated trust through consistent demonstration of skill, successful outcomes, and the protection of the group's interests. Trust reinforced cohesion, ensured compliance with tactical decisions, and allowed for rapid execution of complex maneuvers. Leadership was as much about social skill as tactical acumen. Flexibility defines effective leadership. Prehistoric battles were rarely predictable. Plans must adjust in real time, adapting to unexpected movements, environmental changes, or the behavior of adversaries. A successful leader balances structure with improvisation, guiding the group while allowing for initiative. Members must understand roles, but also be empowered to act independently when the situation demands. Leadership in this context is dynamic, responsive, and situationally aware. Strategic vision complements tactical skill. Leaders do not merely react, they anticipate, plan, and coordinate complex sequences of action. Prehistoric humans used knowledge of terrain, resources, opponent behavior, and group capabilities to create multi-step plans. This vision allows for the integration of scouting, ambushes, flanking, and direct engagement into cohesive operations. A leader's foresight transforms disparate actions into a unified strategy, turning potential chaos into coordinated effort. Motivation is a critical component of leadership. The leader must inspire courage, reinforce morale, and instill confidence. This is achieved through example, rewards, reassurance, and the demonstration of competence. Members of the tribe respond to both the leader's action and demeanor. Calm decisiveness spreads confidence, while hesitation or fear undermines it. Prehistoric humans understood that leadership involved managing both physical action and psychological state. Observation of both allies and opponents informs tactical adjustment. Leaders notice patterns of behavior, hesitation, or overconfidence in opponents, and adapt strategy accordingly. Similarly, they monitor the tribe, noting fatigue, stress, or signs of distraction, and adjust roles, timing, or approach. Leadership is a continuous cycle of observation, decision-making, action, and evaluation. Prehistoric humans relied on this dynamic interplay to maintain control and enhance effectiveness. Experience is a key factor. Leaders often rose through observation and participation, accumulating knowledge of terrain, hunting, combat, and social dynamics. This experience allowed them to make informed judgments, anticipate threats, and leverage resources effectively. Prehistoric leadership was earned through demonstrated capability, not merely inherited or assumed. Competence reinforced trust, cohesion, and the ability to execute complex tactics successfully. Coordination is the tangible manifestation of leadership. The leader integrates individual roles into group action, ensuring that scouts, flanking units, and frontline warriors operate in harmony. Timing, positioning, and task allocation are guided by the leader, creating a force whose collective effectiveness exceeds that of isolated individuals. Prehistoric humans recognized that coordination under guidance transforms skill into power, turning potential into realized advantage. Psychological insight is a critical skill. Leaders understand the fears, motivations, and tendencies of both allies and opponents. They can manipulate perception, induce hesitation, or encourage aggression strategically. Prehistoric humans integrated this understanding into both preparation and execution, enhancing effectiveness through both action and influence. Leadership is not merely about directing movement, it is about managing minds. Adaptation is constant. No two battles are identical, and leaders adjust strategies to suit terrain, weather, group composition, and opponent behavior. This requires both analysis and intuition, the ability to integrate multiple streams of information into coherent action. Prehistoric humans relied on this adaptability to turn challenges into opportunities, demonstrating that leadership is as much about cognitive skill as physical prowess. Conflict resolution within the tribe is part of leadership. Disputes, competition for roles, and disagreements must be managed to prevent disruption. Leaders mediate, assign tasks, and maintain fairness, ensuring that cohesion is preserved. Prehistoric humans understood that internal unity is essential. A divided group is vulnerable to both environmental and human threats. Effective leadership maintains structure while fostering cooperation and trust. Training reinforces leadership principles. Leaders model tactics, demonstrate strategies, and mentor others in observation, coordination, and decision-making. Knowledge is transmitted orally, visually, and through practice. Prehistoric humans recognized that cultivating leadership capacity across generations enhances survival, as emerging leaders internalize skills and principles that ensure continuity and adaptability. Preparation is intertwined with foresight. Leaders anticipate potential threats, plan fallback strategies, and ensure resources are available. They assess both immediate and long-term challenges, integrating lessons from previous encounters into planning. This preparation creates resilience, allowing the group to respond effectively even under unexpected conditions. Prehistoric humans relied on this strategic foresight to maintain control and enhance survival odds. In the afternoon, scenarios are simulated. Groups rehearse ambushes, flanking, and defensive maneuvers under the leader's direction. Mistakes are corrected, timing refined, and roles reinforced. This training ensures that execution under stress reflects preparation, observation, and coordinated guidance. Leadership manifests not only in real conflict, but also in the disciplined cultivation of skill, cohesion, and situational awareness. As the day ends, reflection reinforces learning. Leaders and members discuss outcomes, assess decisions, and refine strategies. Feedback loops ensure continuous improvement, preserving knowledge and enhancing adaptability. Prehistoric humans recognized that leadership is both action and reflection, integrating immediate decisions with longer-term lessons. The ability to learn from experience amplifies competence, ensuring that wisdom and skill persist across generations. Night falls, and the leader maintains vigilance. Positions are checked, potential threats monitored, and the group's readiness preserved. Leadership extends beyond active engagement into preparation, observation, and continuous guidance. Prehistoric humans integrated these practices into daily life, ensuring that the group remained cohesive, adaptable, and prepared for challenges at all times. Dawn returns, and the tribe moves forward with confidence. Leadership has shaped every aspect of preparation, coordination, and execution. Decisions are informed by observation, refined through experience, and executed with authority. The tribe functions as a unified whole, leveraging skill, strategy, and psychology under the guidance of a capable leader. In the prehistoric world, Leadership was not ceremonial. It was essential, practical, and often the decisive factor between survival and failure. The sun rises slowly, piercing the dense canopy and scattering golden rays across uneven terrain. Your tribe steps cautiously, aware that the environment itself is as much a factor in survival and combat as any opponent. Prehistoric humans understood that battles were not fought on flat, predictable grounds, but in landscapes shaped by nature's whims. Forests thick with undergrowth, rocky ridges, rushing rivers, and sudden drop-offs. Every decision, every movement, and every strategy had to account for terrain, weather, and natural hazards. The environment could support victory or enforce disaster, and mastery over its challenges was crucial to survival. First, terrain dictates approach and positioning. Narrow valleys channel movement, creating opportunities for ambushes or defensive advantage. Open plains expose movement, but allow faster maneuvering and easier coordination of groups. Hills provide elevated vantage points, enabling observation of enemy positions, while dense forests conceal movement and hide flanking strategies. Prehistoric humans learned to read the landscape like a map, interpreting subtle signs, disturbed foliage, animal tracks, erosion patterns, to predict potential obstacles and opportunities. Successful groups integrated this knowledge into every tactical decision. Weather is a constant factor. Rain turns soil into slippery mud, affecting both movement and footing. Strong winds can scatter smoke or obscure sound, complicating coordination and signaling. Sunlight, shadows, and even temperature shifts alter visibility, reaction times, and endurance. Prehistoric humans adapted tactics to the changing environment, adjusting timing, positioning, and engagement strategies to exploit favorable conditions or mitigate risk. Battle was never separate from nature. It was a continuous negotiation with forces beyond human control. Waterways present both opportunity and hazard. Rivers can act as natural barriers, slowing enemy advance and providing defensive advantage. Crossing requires careful timing, coordination, and understanding of currents. Shallow streams may offer concealment, while deeper rivers become obstacles or traps. Prehistoric humans leveraged waterways strategically, using them for ambushes, retreats, or tactical positioning. Mastery of water-related hazards required observation, practical knowledge, and collective effort. Natural hazards extend beyond terrain and weather. Steep cliffs, hidden sinkholes, and unstable rock formations create inherent risk. The tribe must navigate these features carefully, integrating awareness into movement and positioning. Prehistoric humans learned through observation, trial, and experience, understanding that environmental missteps could be as fatal as enemy action. Every hazard demanded attention, preparation, and cautious maneuvering. Vegetation can be an ally or a threat. Dense forests conceal movement, but also obstruct vision, delay communication, and hide unknown dangers. Thorny underbrush slows advance, while slippery leaves increase the risk of falls. Conversely, vegetation can be used tactically, creating cover for ambushes, concealing retreat routes, or camouflaging traps. Prehistoric humans exploited plant life in ways that enhanced survival, using knowledge of local flora to influence both offense and defense. Temperature and seasonal changes influence stamina, resource availability, and tactical choices. Cold weather increases energy expenditure, affects dexterity, and can slow response. Heat drains endurance, necessitating rest, hydration, and strategic positioning to avoid fatigue. Seasonal variation also affects movement patterns, animal behavior, and resource distribution. Prehistoric humans adjusted their strategies accordingly, recognizing that environmental mastery included anticipating both short-term and long-term conditions. Night operations present unique challenges and opportunities. Darkness obscures visibility, but also provides cover. Fire can be used to illuminate or intimidate, but must be carefully managed to avoid revealing position or triggering unintended hazards. Prehistoric humans balanced risk and opportunity, understanding how light, shadow, and noise interact with both terrain and enemy perception. Nighttime operations required exceptional awareness, coordination, and adaptation. Environmental observation is continuous. Prehistoric humans monitor subtle cues: wind direction, cloud movement, changes in vegetation, or animal behavior that signals impending weather. Such observations inform not only survival strategies, but also tactical planning. Anticipating environmental shifts can dictate timing of engagement, positioning, and approach routes. Knowledge of these cues is learned through experience, passed down orally, and integrated into every decision-making process. Resource management is critical. Access to water, food, and shelter influences endurance and combat readiness. Prehistoric humans planned movement and engagement based on availability of essential resources, recognizing that environmental mastery includes logistics as much as physical maneuvering. Groups without careful attention to resource use risked collapse, fatigue, and vulnerability, even if they possessed superior numbers or weaponry. Fatigue and human physiology intersect with environmental challenges. Long marches through uneven terrain, exposure to harsh weather, and continuous vigilance sap energy and slow response. Leaders must account for endurance when assigning roles, timing attacks, or choosing retreat paths. Prehistoric humans balanced physical strain with tactical necessity, ensuring that environmental challenges did not overwhelm group capability. Training, rotation, and rest were as much strategic tools as weapons or ambushes. Observation of environmental patterns informs both prediction and adaptation. Recognizing floodplains, animal migration routes, or seasonal wind shifts enables planning for encounters and resource use. Terrain shapes engagement, timing, and positioning. Prehistoric humans integrated environmental knowledge into collective memory, ensuring that experience was preserved and leveraged for future survival. Adaptation extends to weapon use. Mud, snow, or water affects grip, weight, and effectiveness. Stone and wood tools may behave differently depending on moisture, temperature, or exposure. Prehistoric humans refined techniques to account for environmental effects, adjusting thrusts, angles, and strikes to maintain efficiency. Mastery of weaponry in context with nature amplifies survival capacity. Group cohesion is tested by environmental stress. Weather, terrain, and natural hazards demand collective coordination. Leaders must guide, motivate, and maintain order while adapting strategy to shifting conditions. The ability of a group to remain functional under environmental pressure reflects both leadership and training, integrating observation, experience, and tactical intelligence. Environmental adaptation also includes shelter and protection, choosing elevated positions during storms, securing cover from predators, and preparing temporary fortifications can determine survival. Prehistoric humans integrated these practices into daily life, understanding that combat is inseparable from environmental awareness and preparation. Survival depended on anticipation, planning, and the ability to manipulate natural features for protection and advantage. Even small environmental details influence outcomes. Slippery stones, hidden roots, or sudden gusts of wind can disrupt formation, misdirect attacks, or expose vulnerabilities. Prehistoric humans treated every element of the environment as both challenge and opportunity, learning through experience, trial, and observation. Awareness of these subtleties allowed groups to turn potential hazards into tactical advantage. By afternoon, scenarios are practiced to integrate environmental awareness with combat tactics. Groups navigate uneven terrain while maintaining formation, adapt movement to weather changes, and respond to unexpected natural obstacles. Leaders coordinate movement, ensure timing, and anticipate environmental impact on both allies and potential opponents. Prehistoric humans understood that preparation for environmental unpredictability was a cornerstone of effective strategy. Observation and reflection at day's end reinforce lessons learned. Environmental challenges encountered during practice inform adjustments in tactics, timing, and positioning. Knowledge of terrain, weather, and natural hazards accumulates across generations, creating a cultural memory of survival. Prehistoric humans relied on continuous learning to refine adaptation, ensuring that each encounter reinforced collective skill and environmental mastery. Night brings vigilance. The tribe maintains readiness, monitors conditions, and prepares for unpredictable challenges. Leadership, observation, and coordination continue even in rest. Prehistoric humans integrated environmental awareness into every aspect of survival and combat, ensuring that threats from both nature and rivals could be met with skill, preparation, and strategic foresight. Dawn returns, and the tribe moves with confidence. Environmental mastery, knowledge of terrain, weather, hazards, and resources shapes every decision. Groups navigate with purpose, anticipate challenges, and integrate observation with tactical execution. Survival in the prehistoric world depended on the seamless integration of environmental awareness with strategy, leadership, and group cohesion. Mastery of nature was as essential as mastery of weaponry, timing, or coordination, and the two were inseparable in the struggle for life and victory. The smoke from torches and small fires curls into the cool evening air, casting flickering shadows across the worn earth. Your tribe gathers in a temporary camp, a place of reflection, care, and preparation after the day's engagement. Prehistoric battles did not conclude with the fall of an opponent alone. The aftermath was a critical period that determined survival, shaped memory, and informed future strategy. Every action after combat, from tending wounds to analyzing outcomes, was part of an ongoing process of learning, adaptation, and resilience. The first task is tending to the injured. Warriors and hunters who were cut, bruised, or battered during the engagement are carefully examined. Leaves, poultices, and splints are applied where necessary. Prehistoric humans understood the importance of rapid care. Untreated injuries could worsen, weaken the group, and reduce readiness for subsequent threats. Healing is as much a tactical necessity as it is a humanitarian one. The tribe's survival depends on restoring strength and mobility as quickly as possible. Assessment begins immediately. Leaders and scouts recount events, reviewing successes, failures, and unexpected challenges. Every movement, every decision, and every outcome is analyzed to determine what worked and what did not. Knowledge gained is shared with the group, ensuring that lessons from the battle are preserved and internalized. Prehistoric humans recognized that reflection was essential, experience became a teacher, and memory became a weapon in the ongoing struggle for survival. Resource management continues in the aftermath. Food, water, and firewood are gathered and rationed carefully, taking into account the needs of the injured, the fatigued, and those preparing for further movement. Prehistoric humans understood that scarcity could weaken morale and effectiveness, so careful planning ensured the group maintained readiness for both recovery and potential new threats. Resource awareness was both practical and strategic, linking sustenance directly to survival and combat capability. Social cohesion is reinforced during this period. Members of the tribe share stories, affirm roles, and strengthen bonds. Conflict within the group is resolved swiftly, as lingering disputes could jeopardize trust, coordination, and effectiveness in future encounters. Prehistoric humans recognized that cohesion was as critical as skill. A fractured group was vulnerable to both environmental challenges and rival humans. Reinforcing social unity ensured that the collective could respond effectively when the next challenge arose. Observation does not cease. Leaders and scouts maintain vigilance, monitoring for signs of predators, rival groups, or environmental hazards. Even in the seeming calm of aftermath, awareness is paramount. Prehistoric humans understood that danger rarely vanished with the end of combat. The world remained unpredictable, and preparedness ensured survival. Every sound, movement, and shadow was noted, interpreted, and acted upon if necessary. The analysis of the battlefield informs strategy. Locations of success or failure are marked mentally, allowing the group to anticipate patterns for future encounters. Terrain features that provided advantage, elevation, cover, natural choke points, are integrated into planning. Mistakes, such as unexpected ambush points or misjudged distances, are remembered to prevent repetition. Prehistoric humans transformed each engagement into a repository of knowledge, ensuring that experience guided future action. Psychological recovery is essential. The intensity of engagement, fear, stress, and the adrenaline of combat must be processed. Members support one another, offering reassurance and maintaining morale. Leadership plays a role in reinforcing confidence, interpreting events, and guiding reflection. Prehistoric humans integrated psychological care into post-battle routines, recognizing that mental resilience was as vital as physical recovery. Tool and weapon maintenance follows closely. Blunt stone axes are sharpened, arrows repaired, and spears reinforced. Prehistoric humans understood that readiness for subsequent encounters depended on equipment reliability. Even minor deterioration could reduce effectiveness, jeopardize the group, and diminish confidence. Attention to tools reflects foresight, discipline, and the integration of craft with strategy. Scouting and information gathering extend into the aftermath. Observing enemy withdrawal patterns, analyzing signs of movement, and tracking resources all provide critical intelligence for future encounters. Prehistoric humans relied on continuous information acquisition, integrating observation of opponents, terrain, and natural behavior into an ongoing understanding of the operational environment. Knowledge of patterns informs anticipation, preparation, and survival. Ritual and reflection are woven into the recovery process. Storytelling, recounting events, and ceremonial acts reinforce lessons learned and preserve collective memory. Tales of strategy, ambush, and resilience are passed down, forming a cultural repository of survival wisdom. Prehistoric humans recognized that experience, when shared and internalized, multiplies the effectiveness of future generations, ensuring that lessons were not lost. Training is reinforced in subtle ways. Exercises, simulations, and cooperative tasks build cohesion, improve skill, and integrate lessons learned from the most recent engagement. Even in apparent rest, the tribe hones observation, communication, and coordination, ensuring that readiness is maintained. Prehistoric humans embedded training into daily life, recognizing that ongoing preparation strengthened resilience and adaptability. Environmental vigilance continues. Monitoring weather, animal behavior, and terrain ensures that recovery does not occur at the expense of safety. Prehistoric humans remained alert to floods, storms, predators, or other hazards, integrating environmental awareness into both reflection and planning. Knowledge gained through observation enhances tactical and survival capabilities, linking aftermath to proactive preparation. Leadership during the aftermath reinforces structure and discipline. Assigning roles for care, reconnaissance, and maintenance ensures that all tasks are managed efficiently. Leaders coordinate reflection, decision-making, and resource allocation, integrating social cohesion with tactical preparedness. Prehistoric humans understood that effective leadership extended beyond engagement into recovery, analysis, and forward planning. Morale and motivation are strengthened through communal support. Members encourage one another, share observations, and collectively interpret the outcomes of the engagement. This process reinforces cohesion, preserves trust, and prepares the group psychologically for future challenges. Prehistoric humans recognized that morale directly influenced effectiveness, making social reinforcement as important as strategy. Mapping the battlefield in memory or on rudimentary representations helps consolidate lessons. Observations of terrain, enemy behavior, environmental impact, and resource use are encoded for reference in future conflicts. Prehistoric humans relied on this mental mapping to anticipate conditions, plan movement, and predict opponent behavior, integrating post-battle analysis with long-term survival strategy. Adaptation continues. The tribe adjusts strategy, tactics, and preparation based on lessons learned. Missteps, unexpected challenges, and successes are evaluated to refine future engagement. Prehistoric humans demonstrated remarkable flexibility, using experience as the foundation for evolution in both practice and planning. Survival and effectiveness depended on the continuous integration of knowledge. The final stage of the aftermath is forward planning. Leaders, scouts, and members collectively assess potential threats, opportunities for hunting, and preparation for future conflicts. Knowledge of terrain, opponent patterns, environmental hazards, and resource distribution informs movement and positioning. Prehistoric humans integrated planning into post-battle routines, ensuring that every experience shaped subsequent survival and engagement. As darkness settles, the tribe rests while remaining vigilant. Rotations maintain observation, and leaders ensure that the group remains prepared for unexpected threats. Even in the seeming calm, preparedness, reflection, and adaptation continue. Prehistoric humans understood that survival required continuous awareness, integrating physical recovery, psychological readiness, and tactical preparation. By dawn, the lessons of the previous engagement are internalized. Wounds are treated, tools are repaired, observations recorded, and strategies refined. The tribe emerges stronger, wiser, and more resilient, capable of facing both natural and human challenges. Prehistoric battles were not just moments of conflict. They were processes of learning, adaptation, and preparation, with the aftermath shaping the trajectory of survival, strategy, and collective memory.